Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 426 of the Massenomics podcast. We are Marshall. We are the lifting podcast about nothing. Recorded live from South Dakota, of course. And my name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy. Have
you seen it?
No, that actually did make me think
Marshall.
of, there was a comment in Discord this week. Someone said top 4 football movies. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually having a hard time thinking of 4 football movies I've seen because I do not like sports movies. And I've seen Remember the Titans.
So that's on your Mount Rushmore?
I guess by default it is. Little Giants.
you've
Seen
seen
that
it.
one a few times.
Yeah. So that's on your Mount Rushmore?
I mean, I have seen The Waterboy, so I guess that falls in there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of naming some classics here.
Yep.
And after that, the list falls apart in a hurry. I was really struggling to think of any.
How about Any Given Sunday?
Nope.
How about We Are Marshall? You haven't seen
No.
that?
No. Actually, no, have not seen that. Varsity
Rudy,
Blues.
you haven't
Have
seen Rudy?
not
have
seen
you?
Varsity Blues or
Varsity
Rudy.
Blues.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Or Rudy. Neither one.
I have to put Remember the Titans and Varsity Blues both in mind. Those are locks. Those are dead ass locks where I would go fisticuffs with people to hold either of those two in there.
I bet the last time I saw Remember the Titans, I think we watched it. When you're in school, you have like holiday movies you watch before.
yeah.
Like Christmas. I think 7th grade, probably last time I saw that movie.
Yeah.
And The Program, people brought that one up. Never seen that one. And I think that's every football movie ever made. I think that's all of them.
Won an award for best football movie ever made. Talladega Nights, does that count?
It's football adjacent, I guess.
Okay. This week's episode of the Massenomics podcast is brought to everyone by our fine friends over at The Strength Co. Check them out at thestrength.co. That's their website. Or you can call them at 949-326-7652. Just give The Strength Co. a call this week. Actually, would you?
Ring them up.
That's 949-326-7652 and call in an order. Yeah, I'd like to place an order for a pair of 10s, please. So yes, please call in all your orders to the Strength Co. And then when you have a warm body there on the phone, you can let them know that your friends at Massenomics sent you. You can buy their Made in America, veteran-owned, veteran-founded Olympic 2-inch iron plates, the best iron plates in the game. They're made of iron. Check them out at thestrength.co.
I am Iron Man.
I think there's Strength Co. meme potential there.
This has got to be. Let me open up my old notes here.
Did you forget?
I forgot we were
sponsors.
podcasting
Yeah.
tonight.
This would have been nice if someone would have told us.
Is this thing live or are we recording? This episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. Barefoot Shoes have been our favorite barefoot footwear for, Tanner, help me out here, 3
Ever.
years now? 2 years now?
Forever. I was born with them since 1987. I was born just thinking about wearing barefoot shoes.
Since forever, they have been our favorite barefoot shoes. If you head on over to www.barefoot.store, you can also check them out for yourself and see what they're all about. They have the classics like the Ursus High Top, which is our favorite lifting shoe. They have the Ursus Low Top. Both of these options are available in suede or canvas. They also have the Oso, which is a nice little loafer if you want something to slip on, relax, just get around, no problem. And then if you need something to protect your feet a little more, they also have the Bruin Boot available in Kodiak Brown and Black Bear leather options. Those are one of our favorites in the wintertime around here when those Dakota weather hits you hard. It's a good item to have around. Currently, they have a collaboration going with Few Will Hunt. Don't know who they are, but like all barefoot shoes, it looks pretty good. So check it out And if you have really tiny feet, you might be able to get one of the last pairs of the Massenomics collaboration. You know, if you're like size 6 or smaller. Yeah. So while you're over at barefoot.store, make sure to use code Massenomics and you can save 10% on your next order. That's www.barefoot.store. Code Massenomics will save you 10% on your next order. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thanks, Barefoot. Oh, big news, Tommy, this week. It's drop week. It's collaboration drop week.
Drop week.
Can you believe it?
I thought it would
finally
never
here.
come.
That's what she said. Am I right?
That's right.
So it is a drop week. It is a collaboration. We're selling this as a bundle. There's a bundle here. We're the bundlers on this one.
Bundle of joy.
So the only thing in the drop is this new collaboration bundle. And if you hadn't guessed it by now, we collaborated with our Californian friends over at Caffeine Kilos. That's who we collaborated with. And I don't know if anyone has any wild ass guesses of what we might collaborate with Caffeine Kilos, but lucky news for you, you don't have to be in the dark. You don't have to guess much longer because we're going to tell you. Which thing do you want to I'm going to tell you right now, Tommy, something smells good over here.
Can you smell what I'm brewing?
Yeah. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Because I sure do. Let me do a little smell. Oh my God, that smells good. That does smell really good. I'm not just selling and exaggerating here. It smells really, really good. So what do you want to see first?
Are we showing? Are we doing show and tell here actually?
Are we showing? Yeah,
I didn't know.
Should we show it off? I mean, I got it.
I mean, yes, we do. It's right here. I didn't know.
So you've got it too.
I got it right here in front of me.
Okay, so it came in today.
It did hot off the USPS.
So are we
press.
showing it? Maybe we're not showing it. I don't know.
That's what I wasn't sure. We can explain what the collaboration is. I didn't know if we wanted to show it or not, though.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I don't know. I guess it's only our live listeners that are going to get the early taste, though, right? So I guess that's a treat. That's a treat for listening along live.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go.
So do you got something there, or do you?
Do you want me to hold it up?
Yeah. What do you got?
Okay. I have an upper body garment here.
Oh.
Are we ready for
Hello.
For the unveiling? Here it comes. It is the Cool Beans collab. And I'm not sure if this can be seen or not. Here, I'm holding up one for the Discord so they can see this. It says Cool Beans. We got a walking coffee bean in the old school mascot style. And then it says, not until I've had my coffee. Limited blend, morning vibes.
He's carrying the Massenomics mug and wearing the Caffeine Kilos hat.
Real chill shirt.
He's a real cool bean, if you ask me. If there was ever a cool bean that I could find, that's one cool bean.
And this is printed on the same shirt that the Squats tee was printed on, which is actually one of my favorites. I love that color, and I think the fit is right. I think it's a great blank.
So same blank.
Yes.
Always has been the same blank. And then, of course, because a tee isn't enough, the piece de la resistance is, you can see it on my screen here, hopefully, the Cool Beans coffee blend. So this is ground coffee. It's a lighter roast. I think it's on the lighter side of a roast, right, Tommy?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't actually opened the bag yet, so I could be wrong. Who knows?
I haven't had this. I've had the sample where we chose what it was going to taste like, you know, the different samples, and it's a lighter roast. It's still quite delicious, and the coffee bag has this little sniffer hole on the back. And,
I think that's the technical term for it.
Yeah, it's a little sniffer hole.
Sniffer hole.
Dear God, does it smell good?
It does.
I love the smell of that. I might like the smell of that even more than I like the taste of coffee, and I like coffee pretty well.
Kind of makes me hungry for some reason smelling that.
Isn't that a delicious smell?
So did we say these are ground already? Did we say that?
Yeah, these are ground. And it's got the similar logo on the package. It's got our Cool Bean. I like to picture our Cool Beans, singing like a jaunty tune as he whistles
whistling
along. And Not until I've had my morning coffee from Massenomics and Caffeine Kilos.
So we got 12 ounces.
So this is a limited edition run. You buy you buy your shirt size, and then it comes with a bag of coffee. It's bundled together. We're the bundlers.
Yeah. So get it, people.
12
Get
ounce.
it.
Yeah. This has been a little while in the making. So, Tommy, did you ever think Massenomics would have its own coffee?
I would say nothing's impossible, but that was not something that was on my radar in the next 12 months. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, me either. But a fun opportunity that we got to take advantage of there. But don't sleep on that because, like I said, it's, there's only the number of coffee bags that we have now. So, while supplies last, right?
While the BEGSs last.
Yep. Let's see. What do we want to move into here? Looks like our guests should be good. I was actually as we started, I was kind of finalizing that.
We do have confirmation.
We do have a surprise guest this week.
But we do have confirmation, you're saying?
We've got a like of a DM, a heart on a DM. Okay. So I feel like that means
that's more than nothing.
Yes, yes. Okay, so it should be good there.
We had a very big post in this last week on Instagram. Are you aware of that, Tanner?
I did see that post. There was a big post.
Is it the record for the biggest post ever?
I can't confirm that. I can't.
What do you think is up there if it's not?
There's a few viral meme reels that are in that same ballpark so this one's at 3 million views right now. Mm-hmm. It's got 3 million views and 48,000 likes. And it is the one of Michelle Branch. And it says, "Honey, I promise I didn't poop my undies again during squats today." And it goes, "Her, turn it inside out so I can see ya." And that has 3 million views right now.
It was very funny. It caught me off guard when I saw it. I could not remember where that was going, how that song started.
Yeah, so that's a very popular, you can't really plan for 3 million, that just, those just happen. Some of a good performing reel of like the post before that was Randy Moss saying, "I don't stretch." And that one has 80,000, which that's a good
for sure
post for us. Like one after that is Michael Jackson talking about how his shoulders are all hurt.
Actually, that might be funnier. That one is
that one is funnier. I think that one's funnier.
This is literally the farthest I can move my arm.
And my caption I use is, "What is your favorite part about powerlifting?" And Michael Jackson, like a really late in life, Michael Jackson's like, "I literally my right shoulder, this is all the farther I can move, and my left shoulder, this is all the farther I can move."
Literally the farthest it goes. Yeah, it's so stupid.
I'm like, that's funny to me because it's so close to real life in some way.
Everyone's got shoulder problems.
But my point there is like these other ones that perform decently well. You don't know what the secret sauce is that make these go to 1 million or 2 million. Our last big one like that, I think, was Leroy Jenkins one.
That's right.
That went to a couple million. But it is just funny what the secret sauce is, and you can't. It's a little random algorithm thing.
It is.
An old segment we used to have is Instagram comment of the week.
Yes.
So was a comment on that post that I just kind of like. I feel like I'm like, duh,
was it the guy getting mad that meme existed somewhere else already?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, dude, welcome to the internet.
Well, and that's what and he said, almost as funny as the foreskin meme with the same song. And that is the meme that I saw that I pulled this from. Like,
that's
no secrets here.
That's how every meme works. Every meme.
Okay. Some of the ones I pull, I do just find from a movie I'm watching.
But it's also pulled from something else, though.
Right. It's always pulled from something. But you could make a case it's more original when it's not pulled from another meme, when you're just pulling it from a thing.
But also, a lot of people just repost memes they didn't even make, though. Like, how many people do that? Like, they don't even do anything different. They just repost it again.
That's what he had said, almost as funny as the foreskin meme with the same song, which it was the inspiration for this. But I guess my rebuttal to that, or my what I replied was, "Welcome to how meme culture works." Like, that's what I'm like.
That's exactly.
Like, what are you saying? Like, oh, you ripped off a meme? I'm like, yeah, that's what Memes are.
That is what a meme is
right.
People agree that they like this, just this whole image of what's going on here. And they say, yeah, like this will work good to convey a message, and people use it over and over again. And that is what a meme is.
Big Matt in the Discord listening live, he said he figured out, because he's also a fellow meme maker enthusiast. He goes, I figured it out. Memes I spend the most amount of time on perform the worst. I do think there is almost something to that sometimes.
There's an inverse chart to be made there.
That's
the time versus performance. They cross. Right. They invert.
Right.
Are they inverted?
Right. Because I was inverted. But I think there is something to that, though, because the best ones, you just think of them like right away.
Well, and also they're the easiest to make happen because it's so simple to explain.
Right. That underwear one, I can't remember how much thought I put into that one. I saw the clip and I'm like, oh, I want to use this right away. Mm-hmm. And then of course, just like everyone that makes memes, you have themes that you go back to. Yes. And like shitting pants squatting is definitely one that I've used maybe not one of the most recurring, but like I like the idea of actually shitting your pants in a squat, because it actually happens to a fair number of people, maybe at least once or so in the, and some people it probably happens a lot, but so I like that one. It's not my new most favorite recurring theme is going into Planet Fitness and clogging the toilets and bending
breaking
the bars.
Yeah.
And there was one you made like a year or two ago that
I don't even know if I made that though. Did I?
Or you just said it or something?
I don't know. We had was it the Vince McMahon one where he's walking out?
Yeah, that was the one.
I don't know if you made that or if I just remembered it when we were talking about it. I don't even know where who did it.
Maybe that's what it was. But then again, I had a different meme clip idea, and I asked you the other day what it should be, and like, oh, maybe it reminds me of the Planet Fitness.
Yep.
So I've used that again a couple times because I do think this hilarious idea about just walking into a Planet Fitness, fucking up the toilets, breaking all their equipment, and then
because it's so dumb.
Well, it's like, of course, nobody's going in to just vandalize the Planet Fitness, but it is funny that you're just like blowing up. You're saving the most disgusting shits for the Planet Fitness. Yeah, so that's a little peek behind the Massenomics meme curtain, right? Of course, and my favorite recurring theme in memes is spending an obscene amount of time at the gym, especially when I can couple that with drinking brewskis.
With 12 brewskis. And a number of beers that are like more than 10,
down
but
a 12
less than 30.
Like, it's always, I always like just a slight change. Like sometimes you're at the gym for 3 hours a day. Sometimes it's 3.5. Sometimes it's 4. Maybe you're like 5.
Yeah, and sometimes you have
it
10
actually depends
beers.
on the meme, how absurd the number of hours are you at the gym. There's a ratio of absurd time spent at the gym versus how many brewskis you drink. Like, some it might be just appropriate, like, I threw back like 8 brewskis, but some it's like polishing off a 12er of brewskis. Also, the different ways you can describe succinctly like drinking beers.
Yeah. And everyone just gets it.
You're right. Like, yeah, I love to polish off a 12er. Oh, that's good. Speaking of roast, coffee bean roast, did you see I have a topic about roast in here?
I did see that.
That wasn't about the coffee bean roast. That was about something else, actually.
Are you slow cooking a roast while we're speaking?
Should be done any day
on
now.
Your smoker.
Yeah, that's this follow-up from our grilling segment. Was that last week we talked about that? I finally got to watch the Tom Brady roast.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched it over like 3 different times of trying to watch it.
3 hours is a long one. That's a long one.
Is that how long it was?
3 hours, yeah.
I had tried to watch it 2 times, and the other night I had some pre-time finally, and I got to watch it, or I stayed up late enough to see it. And did you ever watch any of that? Or
I've seen probably.
This is really, really old news at this point.
Yeah, I've probably seen a little over an hour of it, I think, and then I feel like some of the highlights on Instagram that maybe I didn't catch of their actual parts.
Yeah. I just wanted to say some of that was just hilarious.
Oh, did you ever watch the Comedy Central roast back in the day?
I guess I did watch some of it, but none of them in particular stick out to
those
me.
Were
I was certainly aware of them very well and everything.
Those were always my favorite things on Comedy Central. They were so funny because everyone is just going you tell jokes that you don't normally tell, and you can just be the biggest asshole, and everyone just is in agreement that everything is fair game. And that's what makes it so funny, is that everyone really is there to have the best time ever.
Right.
And a few of the guys, it's just like you catch a level of comedy that you don't see in regular stand-up, because they have a very specific topic. Like, the constraints are like, these are the constraints. You are focused right here. You don't have to tell jokes about anything else. You're right here. And so people have just the most targeted, specific jokes about these people. And yeah, the roasts, they're always my favorite. They're the best things ever.
Not that this would come up, but I personally, I don't think I could stand to be at, like, I would be like, I'd be like, I don't want to participate in this.
Like okay, you're saying like just being there as a spectator, or even? Well,
no, as a spectator is fine, but like just in a hypothetical situation where you're like adjacent to Tom Brady, and it's like, hey, Gronk, do you want to come be at the roast? I'd be like, nah, I'm good on like getting ridiculed. So because people, they go hard.
Oh, they do. Well, and Tom Brady, to me, he's reached the point of people that I would describe as like Ryan Seacrest and even The Rock to a certain extent, where they're not even people anymore. They only, I think the only thing their brain thinks of is like, how are people perceiving me right now? They're not even a regular person. And that makes it extra awkward for him, because you're like, dude, you're not a guy. You're just like a robot. Right. You could just put a robot up there and it'd give the same reaction most of the time.
You're a robot, man.
And then you look confused. True. Like, I don't know, a lot of people are like laughing and cracking up and having a good time, and like your reaction is confused, I guess. It's like you don't even know what to do. So some of that is awkward on his part. But as far as the comedians go, oh, so funny. My favorite, I haven't.
Yeah, what was your favorite one?
So oh, what is her name now? I can't think. It's the girl, the blonde-haired girl.
Nikki Glanzer.
Nikki Glanzer. She is so funny. She's so funny.
She was really funny.
She's hilarious. And again, I didn't see all the people. I have a harder time giving people that are not comedians high ratings, because you got to assume that 90+% of their jokes are written for them. So I'm like, yeah, you can be funny, you can have good delivery, but there's a certain thing of knowing like where the joke actually came from. And Nikki Glaser, she's a comedian, so knowing it came from her, more than likely came from her, makes it even funnier too. So yeah, she was my favorite of what I saw, at least.
She was really good. Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, and I didn't see any of his, I don't think. No.
Oh my God. He just, the number of people that he brutally roasted in such rapid fire in the most, I feel like he just picked people off so quickly and so dirty that I just can't recall seeing a comedic performance quite like that before. I was like, oh my God, it was like a mic dropping moment almost. I felt like, he just like just ran through all these people, just like.
I'll definitely have to go back and watch, because I'm not watching the whole 3 hour
joke writing is ridiculous. Also, the other guy that was really good, Andy, what's the comedian's name? What the frick is it? Andy Schultz.
Oh, Andy
Schultz. He had like a really, right. He has like, he had that funny haircut where it's like buzzed on the sides or whatever, you know. He was really fun. He had some really well-written jokes too, where I'm like, these guys are just like really good comedians. Yeah. You can tell, you can just tell with their joke writing and then their delivery. But I just overall, it was really funny. And I'd be excited for that to be I don't know if I guess it depends a little bit on the subject matter. If you're completely don't give a shit about the person.
Well, so my wife was actually the one, she watched most of it, and that's why I was like editing a Massenomics video or something, or I think I was podcasting. That's why I didn't catch it with her. So I had to, the little bit that I was watching, I had to explain a bunch of stuff, because she doesn't know much about Tom Brady. Right. She doesn't know who Robert Kraft is. She doesn't know like all of this stuff.
You wouldn't know half of that. Like some of that stuff was funny because it was awkward too.
Yes. Well, that's what she's like, okay. I'm like, okay, just hit pause so I can explain to you what's going on here, because this joke revolves around understanding who these 3 people are and what they did and all that. But yeah,
if you have subject matters that are A-list enough though, it's just gonna be
it does transcend that.
Well, I don't know if they can they do that? Can they because the people they had there, like, was an impressive group of people they assembled for it, where it's like Kim Kardashian, Dana White, obviously all the comedians that were there, but then the football players too. That's interesting to me because I enjoy football, but like, I just thought, and then Ben Affleck and all, like, I mean, can you reproduce that of any kind of frequency where you get the.
I think so. I mean, they've had some pretty big names in the past. I mean, all the roasts are big names. So like,
right.
You know, they had Justin Bieber, they had James Franco, like Donald Trump was one back in the day. I mean, there's Charlie Sheen, like there's been, and then they all celebrities are married to celebrities and friends with celebrities. So like it usually is a pretty big panel.
Right. That's exactly true. Too,
Okay, a couple things on roast. One of my favorite comedians, I figured out who he was because of the roast, Anthony Jeselnik, and he had like a roast show. But I think his comedy is so funny. Yeah. But he had like a clip saying, they talked to me and I wanted nothing to do with this one. He said, I wanted I just didn't want to be a part of it at all. I don't really know what his reasoning was, but there was that. I think a part of what makes these so funny is everyone, I don't think this is a political statement, but like so many comedians now, it feels like they're trying to offer social commentary.
Right.
Under the thing of like, I'm a comedian, I offer social commentary. And it's like, I'm just pointing out how dumb this side is or how dumb this is. And it's just back to the thing of people are so tired about hearing about politics and everything. And I think that's what makes this so great though, is that it's just absurdism, like so like not rooted in reality at all. I mean, the events are based in reality, but the digs are just so out there, so crazy that it's just like, hey, we're just telling some crazy one-liners and having a funny and telling funny jokes, and we're not doing this 10-minute build-up to like have this big thing for a social commentary. And then when it gets done, you're like, oh, and that was the lesson I learned, and it was kind of wrapped in a joke. It's like, no, just hit me with some brutal one-liners for 3 hours straight. And I don't know, I don't watch enough stand-up comedy, so maybe there is more of that going on than I realize. But to me, that is what I miss from comedy is like when we were growing up, Saturday Night Live, all that stuff, all those Saturday Night Live movies, just so many comedians. It was just like they were making movies just to like have one-liners and bits just going through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now everything's like got to have this deeper meaning of social commentary and just meaning and symbolism. And it just can't be like dumb, absurd one-liners that don't even make any goddamn sense. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what I miss about comedy.
Yeah. You brought up something that reminded me. Did you see that Will Ferrell came out as Ron Burgundy?
I heard that he did. I didn't see that part though.
It was not the funniest part of the thing, but it was just fun. You know,
right? Because it's just adding to just the craziness of the whole event.
Right. But it went on for a really long time. I felt like Will Ferrell acting like he's, he never broke
That's kind of Will Ferrell's thing too, though. Is to wear out his welcome.
Right, and that's kind of after a while.
Like, I was to let it be funny, and then be like, okay, yeah, this is weird, and then it just keeps going way too long. You're like, okay, this has become funny again because you're just such an idiot.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of what it was like too. So I look forward to Netflix. Also, I kind of like Netflix being behind that. Not saying that Netflix is the only people that make any good stuff, but it just seems like it was pretty well done in some ways.
And Jeff Ross is always a funny guy too.
Yeah.
The one thing I was reading, or I saw that, because a lot of the Comedy Central ones I think were like an hour and a half long. But what I had read was that, roasts typically are 3 hours, but just in the past, Comedy Central would just always edit it down to just get to the funniest of the funny, because 3 hours is just so long for that stuff.
Right. I could see that too. There's probably an hour and a half of that could have got cut out, and it would have just been even funnier actually, because you get rid of the least funny stuff in there. Like Bert Kreischer and whatever is it Tom Segura? That those two have the podcast together. I didn't think their bit was very funny.
See, I don't know much about them.
They did like this presentation thing, and it just Bert was not funny. I'm like, are you got it all together tonight, man, or what's going on? Because I'm like,
I liked when Nikki Glaser's like, oh, Bert, you have that one joke. It's so funny.
That one joke.
You take your shirt off. That's hilarious.
And you're supposed to keep your shirt on.
You're not supposed to take your shirt off, Bert.
Yeah. Yes. I've got a music topic here, and also I want to talk about a training update, but I don't know how much time we got. Maybe I should do a little supporting our supporting members.
Probably should. Or do you have a can? We could crack into a can.
Oh,
quick.
yeah. Let's crack into a crispy old can.
I think I have a flavor I've never had, and I can't remember if you said you'd had this one recently. I'm holding in my hand a Waterloo Raspberry Nectarine you ever had that one?
I have a Waterloo raspberry nectarine.
For real?
Just kidding.
Oh,
Sake. No, say your flavor again, though.
Waterloo raspberry nectarine.
That could probably be good. I have a 365 Whole Foods Market black cherry.
Oh,
and I just guarantee this thing's going to be tasty.
You know they're bringing the flavor there.
Yeah.
Raspberry nectarine, not too bad. Not a huge nectarine guy, but if you like nectarines, you can taste it, and this would be, I think, could be highly rated. So,
what do you give it? Out of 5, out of a possible 5 JD Power.
Yeah, I go 3.5. The nectarine is actually too much for me. I'm just not a nectarine guy. That's actually what's bringing it down.
This black cherry of some sort of is damn tasty. I'm just going straight to a 4 on it. I knew it was going to be good, though. I knew all along.
That's good stuff.
It is good stuff. Now supporting our supporting members. It's a relatively new segment to the podcast. I guess we've been kind of doing it for a while now, but relatively new compared to some other segments at least. What we do here is we like to shout out, give back a little bit to some of those that choose to support us each month. And you can also choose to support us. All you got to do is go to massenomics.com/join. That's where you can find our different supporting membership options. There's a budget-friendly option for any budget there. No matter what your budget is, you can find something that works for you. You put a little pad of paper down, bust out your pen or pencil, put them together, do a little number crunching, some figuring, and I think you'll find out you almost can't afford not to sign up to become a supporting member. You get to get in on our Discord community. It's the only way you get in on our online Discord. You get, there's a discount code only for supporting members. You get early info on drops. You can listen along live to the podcast. It's the only way to do that. Bunch of other stuff. So check it out at massenomics.com/join. This week, want to give a shout out to Big Cody. I think this is Big Cody, the Birdwatcher. He finished 3rd place in the lightweight division at the Costa Mesa Highland Games in OC, California. So congrats, Big Cody. Then we have also this week, Big Sam Brown, Big Lou, and Big Matt.
Yeah,
we're all together in Omaha. Yeah, at the barbecue deadlift annual event. Those 3 were all lifting there together. I know I saw Big Sam Brown hit a deadlift PR of 625
That's
or something.
what I was going to say. Yeah, 620 something.
So well done, the 3 of you guys. I'm sure it was nothing short of a fun time, right?
It looked electric.
And then coming up June 15th, we've got our next little crew meetup. This is the Garage Gym Throwdown in Watertown, and that is going to be on, June 15th, brought to us by our friends at Build Fast Formula. Supporting members Big Nathan and Big Abby are going to be hosting in their garage gym, and hopefully we get a little crew together to pump some iron in preparation for the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic meet, right?
All right, I got to look right now then. So, according to my training, this week is that. Next week is that. The next week is... Oh, yeah. We
got something good.
We got some big lifts to do that week.
All right, good.
Unless I'm deadlifting, then I don't really have big lifts to do that week. But I could probably move some things around.
Switch some days around. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of Build Fast Formula, head over to buildfastformula.com. That's where you can build smart, build strong, build fast. Level up your life with innovative, clinically dosed, and research-backed supplements that just work. Full Blitz pre-workout. I took a little pre-workout the other day before my lift. A lot of times I drink coffee. When I go to the pre-workout, I go to the Full Blitz. I just had some of that the other day. I had a big lift, and I went full Blitz mode.
I was really hoping you were going to say you take a little pre-workout before the podcast.
Obviously, I figured that went without, I usually like to hit the pre-workout about 9 p.m. That way I just go without sleep altogether on nights that we podcast is the preferred
productivity
situation.
Is through the roof.
Yeah. And not only that, I had some of their 80-20 protein just this morning. Check out all of their supplements, like I said, at buildfastformula.com. Anything you buy from them any order, multiple orders, you can use discount code Massenomics. It'll save you 10% on each of those orders. Any products you like there and you want to get a recurring purchasing agreement going with, you can save an additional 10%. So you can save with our discount code, stack it, get 20% off. Thank you, Build Fast Formula.
And this episode is also brought to you by our good friends at Texas Power Bars. Memorial Day has come and gone, but that does not mean that you can't still take advantage of the $50 off Memorial Day savings over at TexasPowerBars.com. You can save up to $50 on your favorite bars. Bars like the Texas Deadlift Bar, the original Texas Power Bar, the Cerakote Texas Deadlift Bar, the Texas Squat Bar, or the 29mm Texas Power Bar. There's just a few of the great bars they have over at Texas Power Bars. We've been using, I don't know, maybe the first bar we ever bought for the gym was the Texas Power Bar, Tanner, wasn't it?
It was certainly the first new bar we ever bought for the gym.
And that's going on damn near 10 years now, and those things are still kicking. So,
still some of my favorite bars to use, honestly.
We love
the original ones.
Power Bars. They are great. They hold up to a beating, and they are just, there's a reason they are the legend. So head on over to TexasPowerBars.com. Take advantage of that sale. You won't regret it. And when you place your order, let them know Massenomics sent you. Thank you, Texas Power Bars. Our guest has arrived, Tanner.
All right. Can't hold anything back now, can we? Our surprise guest this week.
Boot all these freeloaders from here.
Hello, sir.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties, my friends. But we are in.
Excellent. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I hear you great. Is my audio okay? I'm using my AirPods. I have
sounds
a
good.
mic if you'd like it to be better.
I don't know. It sounds good, doesn't it?
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the mustache is coming across great, so.
I'm growing it out longer. I told my wife I'm going to keep growing it until my wife has a baby.
Oh,
We're having
congratulations.
twins, actually.
Oh,
Thank you.
Twins.
Yeah. We just found out last week, but I told my wife I'm going to keep it growing until they come out.
Yeah.
So I'm going for the white herb. You guys ever watch Tombstone?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. We're big Tombstone fans around here.
Oh, God. I pegged you as Tombstone fans,
Yeah.
so that works out perfect.
I actually, at times, I actually trim my mustache. Tommy, are we starting recording?
We have been recording.
Okay,
so
we're recording.
we
so
can roll with this.
This is important. I just don't want to miss any of that.
Right.
But I have at times, with my beard, not trim my mustache for like over half a year at a time. And I many times have wanted to cut the rest of my beard and just have the ridiculous mustache. And I just have never really made that commitment, because then the problem is that I don't have the beard anymore. And eventually if I want to get rid of the mustache, then I just look really weird with nothing. So
the chain effect. That's the craziest I've ever gone with facial hairs. I did get to a point where I could actually curl my mustache up. I got a picture out there somewhere. That's the farthest I've ever gone with facial hair ever, because that's just, I'm not good at that.
I have a buddy that does that, and he carries around like mustache wax.
yeah.
Well, it's a little too far for me. I like all natural. He also shaves his arms.
Yeah.
You know the type. So he's probably listening right now.
Okay, so as far as formalities go, for anyone that doesn't know, we are here with our guest this week now with the one and only Cooper Dane Mitchell, the
You know my middle name.
founder. You don't worry about that. The founder and spokesman of Garage Gym Reviews. So we're going to talk about a lot of that. Cooper Dane Mitchell. That's also my oldest son's middle name, is why that sticks out to me. So
Sweet. Okay.
great choice to your parents.
Yeah, that's my daughter's middle name too. She always tells
yeah.
everybody we're the Danes. There's that's our connection. So
Yeah.
she tells the boys like, this is just me and Dad's thing.
You guys are the Great Danes, if
That's
you
right.
ask me. Oh, yeah. So we have I'll just be frank, we've got more questions here for you than we're ever going to possibly get to them all, but we'll just start and see what we go to. Last we left off, we were waving goodbye to you as you were pulling out of Western Northeast South Dakota, probably like 5 years ago. I don't know how long ago that was.
I would guess it was 2018 or 2019. It was one of those.
Yeah, dude, what a fun trip. I don't know how much of the details I remember telling you guys, but GGR was still somewhat in its infancy. Like it was still like it was growing, but it wasn't real big. And I needed
It wasn't
every
really
dollar I could
small
get.
either, right? I mean,
It wasn't, but
yeah.
like there was like I wasn't making much money from it.
Right.
And we were traveling. I had actually PRX sponsored the trip.
Yep.
And to save as much money as I could, I hired my buddy to film, who had never filmed. He had never filmed the entire time. And we slept in our rental car the entire way too. So it was a full trip up to North Dakota and back. We left that Kia Sorrento running the entire night, every part of the trip, every leg, and stopped at maybe like 15, 20 gyms. Man, it's just like, you look back on it, it's like, man, doing that today sounds like a lot of work. But at the time, it was like, this is amazing. Like, I'm saving so much money. I'm having so much fun. It was a good trip.
Sleeping in a car sucks, though, is the only thing I would say.
Oh, it sucked.
That's the only part of that I'd be like, I'm going to have a rough time sleeping in the car.
Yeah, and I brought pillows, but I like stuffed them under the seat or something, and we couldn't find them. So we get to the end of the trip. We're unloading the car, and we find the pillows.
You had extra gloves?
Exactly, the exact, it's the Rockies.
You had extra gloves?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, couldn't believe it. Yeah, unfortunately, but that's okay.
That video, you did a tour of Massenomics Gym with us, and we have people that are some of our most diehard Massenomics loyalists that found us from that. We have there's a handful of things from us in the early stages that where we brought in some audience that really stuck around for a while, and that's like when we were on like Starting Strength Radio as another example for the first time, that brought in some people that will still be like, oh yeah. Like they've been around so long, we forget where they even came from. But they're like, I saw that review that Coop did, like 6 years ago at this point or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I look 2019 here. Yeah. So 2019, we have, guys coming from that time. That have stuck around from that time. So it is cool to see the effect that had.
What's your guys' secret to the consistency? Like you guys are still friends, being business partners or whatever you guys call this thing for as long as you
That's
have.
A fair comment. Yes.
Selling all sorts of apparel, making all sorts of memes, having podcasts, traveling. I know you guys have other jobs too, but like, how do you make the marriage work?
Tommy, what is the secret sauce? I don't actually know.
I think
the perfect coincidence of
yes, it's that,
people and
I
events,
think
probably.
we both do what we say we're going to do. Everyone,
Cool.
if you've worked in a business,
you
work in an office, and there's just people that say they're going to do something and never do it, and you check out in a hurry because you're like, but we both do what we say we're going to do. Like,
that's a good
I know
point.
Tanner's going to make 2 posts every single day until the end of time. I know we can count on Tanner to be here to podcasting with me every single week. Like,
right.
He knows that I'm going to have the shit together to send off for new t-shirt designs every single month. Like we know we're going to have a new YouTube video. Like we started this a year ago, and we're going to have one every single week, and we'll keep that going until we decide not. Like if we say we're going to do something, we do it, and it happens. And that's when you can count on that. It makes it easier to keep things going.
That's good. That's probably a good answer. I would also say like both being aligned in what we want out of it too, where it's like, it's great now we get to make money doing it. And that is an important factor of it at a certain point because we both have families and other jobs and stuff. We can't do everything forever and get no return, but also like in the constraints that it has to be fun too. Like we're not doing this to not have fun. So if if it's like our option is A, do this thing and it's no fun and maybe you could make a little bit more money, or option B where here we can still make money, but this is fun, then it's like, that's where kind of the value, that's the sweet spot for us probably.
Totally. Yeah.
Not that we're turning down tons of opportunities to make a lot of money that we, but just hypothetically, at least that makes sense in my brain.
No, I get it. Yeah. No, I think there's the idea of like the overnight success, and everybody looks at the people as like who got the overnight success. I was thinking of John Call, Juju Mufu with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the dude was making content and online forever.
Yeah.
Dude.
Right.
And then suddenly he does this wild video with the orange chairs, and he's like this overnight success, but he had all this time period built up before it that helped him get there afterwards. And people just don't give credit to the consistency over the long term.
Right.
And I think not to toot you guys on horn too much, but I think you guys are showing, you just stay at it. You grow.
We just say, if you can just outlast everyone, eventually that'll mean something. I don't know if it means much, but it'll mean something.
But obviously you can say it because you get it yourself too. Cause there is the overnight success is basically a fallacy. And also if you truly are, you're probably not going to last long-term anyways. Then if you are really just an overnight success, that's still not sustainable long-term. And you get that though too, because you get the consistent, we could just flip it on its head and ask you the exact same question too. The consistency is key. And then also you do need to probably be getting better at stuff as you're doing it consistently too, in an ideal world, improving while sticking with it. But you get that.
That's part of the
well.
reps thing, I mean,
Right.
Everybody listening to this gets that. You put in more reps, you get better at the thing. The other thing is you gotta I just am not good at things I don't like. I just always been that way. If I like something, truly like it, I'm the most curious person in the world. I'll just dig. And so if I no longer like it, it's just I'm just not, it just doesn't work out. So finding something that piques my interest, but is something I'm going to do the rest of my life, train, something I'm going to do the rest of my life. There's going to be new equipment that comes out. I'm going to be into it the rest of my life. I can always review it because there's always new stuff coming out because the incentives are there for companies to create this stuff. And therefore they need people to, review it and say what's good or bad about it. I feel like it's a nice flywheel that can keep me going. Because I enjoy it.
For sure. Okay. I don't want these to seem too disjointed and jump from place to place, but I don't know. We got a lot of questions, so we'll talk about some of them here. So Tommy just started his home gym, his garage gym.
Yep.
Yeah. He moved.
Welcome to the team, pal.
Yeah, he moved to he doesn't live in Western, Northeast South Dakota. He lives in Southeastern South Dakota now. So he has a home gym, a garage gym. I don't know, you've seen it a little bit, you said, but as the industry expert, do you have any advice for him in the start of his journey?
What kind of training are you doing, Tommy? Are you doing mostly powerlifting?
I stick to a pretty, I'm running the Juggernaut AI app. I stick to a pretty basic powerlifting split. So I don't do anything too crazy. It's mostly your barbell movements and then a few just basic accessories that, make use of dumbbells or whatever I have around.
Yeah. That's the training program for garage gym, because just simple. You can do so much with a barbell. You get so strong. Do you have a nice barbell? I think I saw your rack. Your rack, I forgot, is it Rep or Rogue?
I have the Bells of Steel Hydra actually.
Or Bells of
Steel Hydra.
Okay.
Yep. So I got that. Have a 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar showing up in the next week or so here. So
Texas Power Bar and 29.
Yes.
Did Brandon Campbell Diamond turn you on to that one?
Well, we kind of been Texas Power Bar guys since day one, so that's kind of always had a special place in our heart. And
but
then
29, I mean, you can say you're always a Texas Power Bar guy, but you would go with the newer,
you gotta,
right.
Got to see what the new ones. I'm just getting started. I wouldn't put it past me to have a whole collection of these. I don't know if you're aware, but Tanner has every generation of Texas Power Bar from the 1980s to today.
From the Max up through the Texas Power Bar Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. The newest.
Don't bring up Mac Barbell to Buddy Caps. Okay, let's just say that he's not. Fan.
I sent. We don't talk directly with. So Texas Power Bars has been a sponsor of the podcast for 5 years now, and we don't talk to Buddy directly, but we talk to his son-in-law.
Nobody talks to Buddy.
No. We've been trying to get Buddy on the podcast for years. I still, hold out some hope that we'll have it at some point in time, but Cool. We did make a video on this timeline of the Texas Power, and I did start it with the Mac, and I did send that off to him, and I sent it to to Mitch, and I'm hoping it made it to Buddy. I don't know his opinion on that barbell, but still he had to at least appreciate the collection that I had to track down here for this.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've got an unused old Mac Texas Power Bar. It was unused in that it was just left in the back of a pole barn.
Really?
It was rusty as all get out. Yeah, my buddy had it. And dude, there is no wear on any of the knurling.
That's cool.
It's just pristine. And I restored it, oiled it up. Yeah, there's just something about I know there's I'm gonna go on Vintage Weights. They're a podcast that does more.
With Rob? Yeah, Vintage Weights PGH is Big Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah. We've had
like
Rob on before, and I've been on his and stuff. Yeah,
dude, there's like this whole subculture, which I'm not really in.
Right, it is a subculture.
Yeah, dude, it is awesome. Efren.
Big
really
Efren.
into it.
I've gotten quite a bit of stuff from Actually, I got these my York Roundhead Salesman gold samples. These are courtesy of Efren. I conned him into selling me these out of his personal collection. So yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, it's just like it's cool to see. It's cool to see just people are into that idea of strength culture and it growing over time. And I love that it's like being like restored or cared for still. I think it's cool. I like the newer stuff. I don't have a ton of affinity for the older stuff, but I get why people do.
I recently, it's just within the last year and a half is when I started getting into it. I don't know. I guess I feel like I ran out a little bit of newer stuff, but like my itch for equipment buying doesn't go away. So it gives me an avenue to be like, here we go. Like I can't readily just buy these. I can't just go to thestrength.co, rogue.com, and click add to cart. Like there's like
the thrill of the hunt.
The thrill of the hunt. Exactly. Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, you have a full York collection there.
Roundhead dumbbell set. Yes, that's exactly right.
Dude, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm kind of avoiding that too because I could get really into it. And like I see, like, I know enough about kind of like Nautilus and, the spider cams, the aluminum cam, like all the talks about that stuff. And it would corrupt me. I would just bankrupt myself going after this stuff. I got enough stuff I'm trying to spend my time on.
Yeah. So Garage Gym Reviews, obviously you review a lot of gym equipment. Your reviews carry a lot of weight. What you say is important for the industry, obviously. You have the biggest channel that does this, and it matters. Like for an equipment company, especially, it matters for all of them.
You probably cover more stuff than anyone else does, right?
Right. So my point is, it's really impactful, and you probably are aware of that. But what I wonder, when you don't like something, you're reviewing something, and maybe there's parts of it you don't like. Do you feel, to be truthful, you feel like you're obligated to tell the truth, and it might be negative. Yeah. Like, do you feel bad? Like if you have to say something bad, do you feel like, shoot, sorry. Like I don't want to shit on you, but like your thing sucks. Like, do you feel guilty about having to do that ever?
Well, especially if there's people behind it, if like, it's easy to hate people from a distance. It's hard when you know them. Yeah. So to be honest, I try to avoid not knowing a lot of people within the, like I talked about this. I'm sure we'll talk about this, but like that response video I made to.
We got to talk about
Tim.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. To Tim. Yeah. I think a lot of people like I'm not on the calls about money anymore. I don't want to be on the calls about money. Like I don't want to be on like everybody knows, like the way that we operate the business is through affiliate. So, I don't want to know how much we're paid commission wise. I don't want to know the amount we're paid. Like I knew all that stuff, and it's just really hard to parse and to separate bias. Like it just like, I know there's people that would say there's no bias involved in any of this. That's a lie. I mean, bias is just inherent in everything you do. You just have to try and like, how can I avoid this as much as possible? So I try to not be on those conversations. There's other stuff like, I saw this and I heard people talk about it in like the tech industry where you'd have big conglomerates like say Samsung who would pay for like trips and weird stuff like that to reviewers to try and incentivize them to do stuff. Dude, that same stuff happens in our industry, but I just avoid it as much as possible. Like, not maybe so blatantly, but just people like sweetheart stuff. Just people trying to be nice, trying to get you to like say nice stuff about them. And I just don't want that to affect the things I say. So there's people in the industry that are with companies that, dude, I really like just the people themselves I really like. There's also people I don't like. And there's people I don't like within companies that people would think I would like that I just don't. But I try not to let that be like the deciding factor of the product. Like I try to, and I don't do this perfectly. Like there's times I look at videos, I'm like, man, I should have like if I could redo it, I would do it differently. But there are I want to review the product as it is, whether the people I like or don't like, or whether I'm making money from them or not. I try to as much as possible. I don't do it perfectly, but I try to, which is, like you said, like it's hard because there's people that I know. Every time I do a review, I get a call from somebody or an email from somebody saying they're upset about something. And almost always it's when the people are really involved in the creation of the thing, which is awesome because they really care about it. Like, say, engineers at these companies, and I've met them, I talked to them, all that sort of stuff. But if I critique something that they worked really hard on, or say I do a more clickbaity title, people get really upset. And so that stuff sucks. At the same time, like, you make something good, I'm going to say it's really, really good. The difficult part is weighting them equally, both and this is for just life in general, but the encouragement I give, the good things I say, and the critiques and the negative things I say. It's easy to like swing the pendulum and go one way, but I try to just equally weight. All right, if it's good, I'm going to call it out, say it's good, say how much I like it. If it's not good, I'm going to say it's not good and say how much I don't like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like the clickbaity titles, that's tough. It's easy for someone, say they work with the company, they're the engineer, their owner, whatever, and them to say, did you really have to name it that? But also, like, you're in the business of creating content, and like, you have to want people to watch what you're doing. You know, like, that is the goal. And like, that is part of the game is, you know, like, encourage, you know, doing the things necessary to encourage people to watch it within reason too. Like, that is kind of the name of the game too.
Well, it sounds cliche, but it's like, hate the game, not the player. You know, it's like, you're coming
Right.
after me, but that's literally the game that we play. They give me only so many characters, and only so many of those characters show up. They give me this little thumbnail. I got to like attract attention as much as possible. And the other thing that a lot of companies don't understand in our industry is, like, even negative things I say, the amount of eyeballs that draws. Like, dude, the amount of eyeballs I drew to a video we did on the Nike barbell, and I just like, it's just not there's nothing about it that's unique or special. They charge extra to put the swoosh on. Dude, the thing's got so many views, and you get people that are so upset about it. And it's like, man, I didn't say anything that wasn't factual. I gave my opinion when I said it was my opinion. And it's like, man, people get so upset. But at the same time, you're getting so many eyes to that, so much engagement. It's like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's fair. When you, I don't know how many years, it's been a while now, but talk about your thing with Tim. We'll talk about that later. But when you sold the major portion of the ownership of Garage Gym Reviews, was that a decision in the moment at that point in time? Was it a really tough decision, or had you already done a lot of the tough stuff prior to that, and it was like an easy decision once you got there to that point in time? Or was it like, I don't, you know, how hard did that weigh on you, making that call at the time?
Yeah, it was pretty hard. I can say maybe like 6 months before, I told my wife, like, I got to figure something out because I'm getting run down. Like, like, I'm not, and I'm not trying to be this guy. I'm not Mr. Manager. You know, I'm not trying to have a ton of employees. Like, that's not, like, I wanted to do the thing. I wanted to review the equipment, use the equipment, test the equipment, create stuff about the equipment. Like, that's what I really like doing. Well, as you scale a business, there's a whole lot of other things that you got to figure out than doing just the thing. And what you realize is, like, do I really want to do this? Do I like doing this? And does this allow me to have time to like focus on things I actually want to do? And it just wasn't. Like, it just took away from the stuff I actually enjoyed and I felt like I was good at. And so it definitely weighed on me in terms of, like, I'm giving up control. Are these people going to do what they say they're going to do? I have certain moral principles that I just won't go away from as a Christian. And so, like, is that going to like play a part? Is that going to be a challenge? What's the environment going to be like that I'm going to work in? Is there going to be expectation of me to say stuff that I'm just not going to agree with, you know, like all sorts of stuff like that. Also, there's a part of like an attachment to it. I don't want to equate it to my children, but in some way it feels like a child. Like it's like I created this thing, incubated it from nothing, had all the idea came up. There's just so much storied history. And because the brand is so synonymous with me, there's also that part too. There's just a lot of factors that played into it. But overall, like, I mean, just truthfully, I'm very happy with how it's gone. I mean, there's certainly bumps along the road, and there's certainly been things that I want to improve and try and do better. And I've tried to apologize for. At the same time, like, dude, I'm able to focus on what I want to focus on. I have full control on anything that comes out of my mouth or comes out of the channel. Now, that doesn't mean like this is like where we have to parse things. Not everything that is from Garage Gym Reviews, the brand, is coming from me anymore. There was a time where it was like I wrote every article. I wrote every post. I created every post. I oversaw every post. Like, that's not it. Like, the stuff on the website, we have an editorial team of people doing that. And we have some really like we've got Kane Wilkes, who's an Olympic weightlifter, Dragon Wilkes, like writing content. He's doing that full time. So like we've got people who know what they're doing and are giving their opinions. But as far as things that are coming from me, my mouth, and from the channels that I mostly control, which is YouTube and social media, like nobody's like, hey, you need to sell this more. Nobody's like, hey, can you talk about this more? Like they basically get like, I'm just going to talk about what I'm interested in. I'm going to try to do it in like a truthful way. And the audience over time, like you're going to benefit from that. Like just how it is. Like this is why I tell companies, like the brands, and that's what I tell our company is like the brands, the only reason they care about GGR is because they care about the people they're selling to. They don't care about GGR. They just care about selling more product. Right. So if we're just suddenly losing the trust of the audience, the brands don't care about us either. We can only serve one master. That master is the audience. Serve the audience. Give them honest feedback. Give them what they want. Create things that they want. And the brands ultimately will benefit from it too. But dude, all the fights and people getting mad about stuff on the brand side, dude, I don't care about that. Like that is just so much less important, because ultimately what we're trying to do is serve the audience. And there have been times where we haven't served the audience as much. And that's where it's like we have to revert back towards the audience in everything that we do. So that's a long way of answering, but that's kind of my feelings on that.
That's good. No, you hit on several bullet points that we have within there actually. So that's a good answer. Do you feel like, I mean, I take it by your answer, not really, but do you feel like, with having to give up some of that control, like, are there any lines you have to walk now that, do you have to do anything that's annoying to you that you're just like, when this was me and only me, I just did whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I answer to me. I mean, you answer to the audience and everything like that, but do you have to do it? Like, it could even be, it could just be like, I work in an office day to day. I got to do a lot of dumb office crap. Like, do you have to do any crap now that just you're like, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Pillar 4, the company who bought GGR, is a corporation and an ever-growing corporation. When I came on, we had less than 50 employees. I think now, I don't know the exact amount, but it's tremendously more than that. Like it's a lot of people that I don't necessarily know. Now they're not all working on GGR. We have other brands within like sleep. Like they call it Pillar 4 because the goal is to basically have brands within 4 pillars of health: mental,
quiz time.
mental,
Quiz.
fitness, nutrition, and sleep.
Okay.
I'm obviously not the elevator pitch guy for the board at Pillar 4, but we have all hands meetings, like tomorrow I film every Wednesday. That's been my thing as long as I can remember. Well, there's an all hands meeting in the morning. That throws off my entire rhythm. And this is so like, dude, who cares? Like I'm pretty good with the flow. I can handle a lot. But it's just like, there's little things like that where it's like, there's a there's a corporate game that's played. I'm not the corporate guy, so I kind of just do my thing, and that's expected. Everybody knows that. Nobody throws, when you do good work, nobody really cares what you do. You just do your good work, But a lot of other people, we have people that are playing that game, and so you got to play, you got to navigate, figure out that whole thing. So there's that. But generally, like, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. It's just like I like the people on our team. I mean, it's a pretty good gig. Yeah.
Do they ever sit you down and give you a performance review and say how you stack up to the people amongst the other pillars?
No, they don't do that.
Okay.
Because nobody compares.
We did. So Tommy and I were at home Gym Con this year. It was our first time.
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to talk about that. No,
Yeah. See, you weren't at home Gym Con. We know that
yes,
by now,
but
but
Coop?
there was a couple of pillar. Yeah.
That's my ringtone now, by the way.
That would be funny if that was your ringtone.
Yeah.
I would like that. There was a couple of Pillar 4 media guys there, though, we got to meet, and I asked him, I said, you must be Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. And,
yeah, Nick and Logan. We sent them as covert ops.
Yeah, that's what.
Figure out what was
That's
going
what.
on.
I don't know if Tommy, what's the?
I don't know how covert they were. They kind of led with the Pillar 4 thing. So.
Oh, did they?
But who's the guy that Jim Crafter? I don't know if Jim Crafter knew, but there was a couple of Pillar 4 representatives there. Actually,
See, we were there.
Yeah,
we were there. We were there.
So what about that? Tommy, did you watch the full original video?
I did not see the full original video, but I did see the full Coop commentary while I was watching
From
the basketball
Instagram
game. So it was like a podcast in action.
And I saw most of it too. I think you handled that really well. Obviously, I think it was handled well. But did that hurt your feelings, or how do I mean, you discussed a lot of this there, but just
no, good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Tim. I do think there's things that he said that questioned things that I just don't want to be questioned. Not that they can't be questioned, but I just felt like I felt like it was lies. And here's the thing with Tim is it's not like he was saying anything that's never been said before. It's like he was saying things and he said it the loudest and stuck his head up the tallest. So I was going to chop it off because just this has happened too long. I'm just going to end it. I'm just going to be truthful. So that's why I responded specifically to Tim, which, it's part of that. It's the loudest, it's a stupid word. I don't even want to use it, but the loudest hater, Yeah. I got my haters. The loudest hater is the one who you go after, which I don't necessarily like doing that. But the reason I had heard other things that were said like that. And I just wanted to speak what I thought on the situation. And so with Tim, it was he was throwing out these things, and I wanted to speak to the things that were true about what he said, because he did say things that were true. I mean, honestly, I emailed the guy after, and he wrote back a very kind response. I mean, the thing is, the only reason he would say something like that, I mean, there's the part of maybe it was clickbait or something like that, which I don't mind at all. I mean, if he wants to build his name off of somebody else's, I've done that before. Everybody in content has done it. So good for him. I think that's a great tactic. And the fact that I responded, it's even a better tactic. It's good for him. But I would have no problem hanging out with the guy, nothing like that. I don't have anything against him personally. Just some of the things he said definitely rubbed me the wrong way because they just aren't true. And it's speaking to things that he would have no idea on, I don't know where he would get some of the things he was saying. It was just very
numbers or that sort of thing.
Yeah, numbers, and also the strength co thing. where he had this like just dramatic pause, like you didn't forget. And it's like, man, I don't know why I would lie. Like Strength Co is an affiliate. Like I have no reason. I really like Grant. I've talked to Grant from before he was even casting plates. Like introduced him to heavy metal barbell. Ask Grant what I think of Grant. Like really nice guy. I love that dude. But like, there's just things like that I just like, he just said it as if it was factual. And instead of saying, I think this, and it's just like, dude, I'm just not like going to play with that. And so I think, in a way, I'm glad he did it because I've been wanting to talk about some of this stuff for a while. I just didn't feel like I had the right time or place to do it. So I'm glad I was able to have the outlet to speak about it. Yeah. And like, the thing is, I think some people think because inherently I'm a part of a business that makes money off of this thing, that's all I care about. Dude, I'm as into this thing as anybody. Like, that's what people like. Dude, I talk about this stuff all the time. I got like my bookshelves, J cups, heavy mug, knurled shot glasses. A lot of this stuff I just bought. Like people that think I get all this stuff for free. I bought the Sorinex full price from Sorinex when they came out, just like anybody else. Like, dude, I freaking love this stuff. I'm wearing a Lyco t-shirt. Like, I just into the thing. So it's like.
Also, you did it for a number of years without making any money, just like
right.
A lot of people.
I didn't. That was the thing. Is I didn't have a monetization vehicle when I started. Like I didn't even know. I had companies coming to me saying, "Hey, do you want to sign up for this affiliate program?" And I was like, "Affiliate program? Like I'm not a CrossFit affiliate." Like I had no idea what affiliate marketing was. Like that wasn't the goal. Like now that's not to say like we don't make money. Like I don't want to go too far and act like I don't care about money at all because I certainly do. That would provide for my family. But at the same time, like I love this thing. I really do. That's why I can get excited, passionate about it, talk about the equipment. But first, like I just. If it ever got to the point that I wasn't loving it, I'd probably just stop because I couldn't do it. Like I'd do something else. I can figure out how to make money doing something else.
So would you sit and have a brewski with Tim?
Oh yeah, I'd love it. Yeah. We should do a brewski podcast or something.
Oh, we should have contacted Tim and like interjected him in here without either of you knowing that the other person was going to be there, just really force an awkward scenario.
Bringing him to the table here we go.
Right yeah.
Do you feel that
go ahead.
So do you feel, obviously the selling the business or the acquisition or however you want to frame it, like that's obviously a huge move and a big change. Like, do you feel like when that happened though, like since then have maybe people's critiques or criticisms of you amplified since that time?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. And in different ways than maybe they did before. Whereas like there's a disagreement with opinion, which will always exist there and is completely fine.
When you say like talking like quality of equipment, like discussing equipment or
okay. Specifically about equipment. Then you have the side of like credentialism, people not into the fact that maybe I don't look like I lift as much, that kind of thing.
That's the funny old joke too. Also,
what do you say?
Well, that's the funny old joke. When there was all this criticism, my comment was, "Hey, can't we just talk about Coop not lifting? Like can't we just let's keep it simple, like the good old days? Let's not make this personal. Yeah. Let's just say, hey, that guy doesn't lift." Yeah.
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Then you have the side. Then you have the side that's like the sold out side,
Mm-hmm.
And so, just like I can see from people's perspective, like he sold out. But I don't think the quality of content, I don't think of what I've said, I don't think things have changed from my standard of what I want to present and how I want to talk about equipment has changed. So, I mean, that's ultimately, that's the goal. That's how I serve the audience. And the other fact is like, dude, I've never taken a single dollar from anybody other than brands in terms of that's how through affiliate commissions. So it's like I don't really like talking about like the free like this is free content. How can you complain about free content? Because like they do pay in a way through affiliates through buying through equipment. So I recognize that side and I want to make sure that the content I created serves the audience. at the same time, like I mean, that's why I wanted to make the video to Tim, because I just don't feel like the standards dropped. In some ways, I've tried to increase it. So
that's fair. I've got one other home gym con story, and this isn't directly related to you, but it'd just be interesting to get your take because you have obviously a lot of experience in the industry. So Tommy and I were there. We were shooting content. We've been doing a lot more YouTube content over the last, say, 18 months, and we got several good videos out of Home Gym Con. We talked to a lot of equipment manufacturers and did some fun, goofy stuff like we would normally tend to do. But part of that was we were going to various booths, various displays, setups, the ones that were of particular interest to us, and speaking with the owner or whatever, whoever the representative was they have there, and asking him just one or two questions, maybe something serious, throwing in something goofy, having fun. We put videos together at the end of the day, and I think they turned out pretty cool. But out of all the booths we went to, everyone, I honestly, everyone was very nice. First of all, like, of course they're nice, and we're trying to promote them. We're trying to put them on a pedestal. Like, we're trying to talk about cool stuff with them. The one booth, the Rogue, and I had been talking to the Rogue guys, and a couple, there were customers of Massenomics, and they were cool guys, and so this is nothing personally about them, more just a comment about Rogue's stance on this. It's odd to us that they would choose, knowing this convention's going on and knowing there's people like us or you could be there or just people filming content, and they would take the stance of, no, we're not going to have anyone talk to anyone about anything on camera at a trade show where, like, we want to help give you publicity. Not that Rogue certainly doesn't need us. They don't need anyone there, but I mean, like, it's just kind of
it's just corporate position to take.
Right. It's very corporate. And also, like, Tommy, you made the point before where it's like, you're not
Citibank. You're not a financial advisor where you
right.
think your people are
red tape.
You're welding together pieces.
Yeah, it's like
sticks of metal to make
you make pieces of metal,
racks.
and at the same time, like, your pieces of metal are like a couple % different than the other guy's piece of metal. Like, so, like, give us some personality to separate you from the rest.
But maybe you've got a different take, or maybe you've got a view that we don't consider there. So what do you think about that?
So I'll say this: Rogue is they can be defined by their name. They're Rogue. They're one of one. They like not being beholden to anybody, and they like just doing their thing at their own pace. Like, it's just that's how I mean, that's the ethos Bill and Katie Henniger have built into that business, and it goes from top to bottom. People can have a problem with that, and I've got a problem with it at times. Like, because it plays in the relationship that we have with them. I would love to do more stuff. Like, dude, I haven't been out there since that last film tour I did a long time ago. Like, I would love to do a lot more. I've got good relationships with some people at Rogue, but it's not really with Bill. And I would love it. I would love to have a good relationship where it was like, send them feedback on equipment or something. But there's reasons, mainly. Oh, my lights turned off. Sorry about that.
Oh,
mainly I think he's had some problems with some of the critiques I've had to some of their equipment, and specifically possibly with some of the like this is very much how Rogue wants to play the game. Is they don't necessarily care about opinions. They want to do spec for spec. They want their bars, like, you see some hashtag, you can see it with some of Bill's hashtags, like pink slip for pink slip, which is like a racing term where it's like, sell me your car if we're better than that kind of thing. He would like you to look at the F rating of all the bars and say, this bar is the best because of the F rating on this bar. Right. That kind of thing. Because the truth is, I mean, it's hard to beat Rogue in that stuff. Their machining, like, dude, just their capabilities is ridiculous. But, equipment is more than just that.
Yes, there's
Like
a feel, there's a
Right.
usability to all this stuff too.
Exactly.
And that's
yes,
not even like
yes.
this mumbo jumbo hippie thing. It's like, no, you can just use it and
Right.
you'll know instantly, you know.
Right. Yes. Yes. But because I think Bill is probably engineer minded, which, like, dude, anything negative I would say about them, man, like, dude, they've done more for the industry than anybody. Like, dude, I mean, I have reasons to not be fans of Rogue. I'm a huge fan of Rogue. I'm a huge fan of Rogue. I really am. Just what they've done for the industry, and everybody I talk to that's a competitor to them recognizes the same thing. They may not like them, but everybody knows Rogue has done a lot for the industry. Same thing with CrossFit. You know, it's like anybody who's in a different training, you know, like powerlifting, whatever, looks at CrossFit and says, well, there's problems with CrossFit, but man, for the home gym space, garage gym space, they did a lot. But I think Rogue is like, they're that way. In fact, when I went there and filmed years ago, I wanted to talk to one of the engineers and get his name and get his take on stuff on camera. And they didn't want that. They wanted it to be presented as Rogue's engineering team. Whereas you see this dynamic difference between them and Rep, because Rep does the opposite in that their engineers are in all the videos. People know the names of the engineers. They're like celebrities in some ways. Now, from a corporate perspective, that gives the engineers at Rep a lot of like negotiation strategy.
Right.
You know,
right,
increase your
right.
salary, keep me on, you know, like, because people
You need
know
me,
people,
you know, like people
Right.
love me, you know, it's
exactly.
right.
Whereas Rogue doesn't really have to deal with that because nobody knows anybody behind the scenes. Like, name somebody at Rogue besides Bill and Katie.
No, the two guys I talked to, I could probably pick them out of a lineup, and that's just because we had a meaningful conversation with them.
And like
yeah.
we are with you that yes, Rogue makes amazing stuff. I mean, Massenomics Gym is full of Rogue stuff. I don't know if, like, Tanner, have you ever got anything from Rogue and you're like, this sucks? I mean, it's always good quality, you know? Like,
you know what you're getting, of course.
yes,
I mean,
you know what
there's
you're
not
getting. Like, it's been
surprises
recovered.
like
and so, like, that was our whole point, though, is like, yes, I could not fault anyone for buying Rogue. It's all good quality, but man, they just come off like the most boring, faceless company from an actual PR standpoint. It's
especially like you brought up Rep as a comparison. They were there at Home Gym Con.
It's like,
hang out with Adam, and it's like
with personalities and real people in it. Not like, I don't know.
Right.
Do they allow you to leave the workroom to go home when you're done at Rogue? I don't know. Like, you're just locked in your cage.
Or we go to talk to the ATX people who prior to this we know almost nothing about, German company, and we come in there like, yeah, we'd love to do it, but you got to wait. You need like
We want the head guy to talk to you.
Yeah,
Totally
you
makes
need to
sense
talk
too.
to Flo. Like, it's going to be better if you talk to him. You come back later and talk to him. And it's like, I just really appreciate it. Just personally, I appreciated those approaches to it a lot more, where I'm like, this is, you're making this cooler for all of us, I feel like, by doing that.
Yep.
But I sort of get it too, but it just, I don't like it. But that,
Dude, I would love it. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I would love it. I would love to have a one-on-one video done with Bill, asking him questions like that. I've asked him that multiple times. It's always like, we'll get back to you. I would love to do that. I would love to try. Like, the resources, what Rogue has done, USA made stuff, man, I'm a huge fan. But there are times I'm in the same way. I'm like, man, I just feel like there could be more integration into the community in some of those ways. But I am glad. I mean, I think it's kind of cool they went to Home Gym Con. I mean, I didn't go, so I can't really throw stones.
You weren't there.
Yeah.
I thought you were there. Okay, that's somebody should have said something about that. Okay. We're from South Dakota, as you know, you've been here before, and we got Mount Rushmore. We're the Mount Rushmore state, the 4 presidents carved in stone there. So we like to talk about the Mount Rushmore of things. What would Coop's Mount Rushmore of overrated home gym equipment be? And it doesn't have to be brand specific. You can take that however you want. It could just be generally these types of pieces of equipment are a little overrated in the gym space, and your Mount Rushmore of the overrated home gym pieces.
Yep. Number 1, vertical leg press. Like a vertical leg press. I like how little space they take up. They're just You even have you ever tried like a vertical leg press? You try a high end.
I'm not sure. I'm even like. Are you just saying just like a regular? I mean, is a vertical
Well, no,
leg
it's
press?
the where it's literally like it just rides up and down. Like
Oh.
you lay with your back flat on the ground.
Okay,
basically.
okay.
and,
I
like,
never
would
knew what those
press,
were
like,
called.
directly
Okay,
up.
yes.
Yeah, I believe that. No, I never have. I've seen those certainly before,
Okay.
but
You even try the best of the best, like an Arsenal, like vertical leg press that takes up like they're huge, right? And they got all the biomechanics and everything. No, dude, the range of motion's so short. They put you in just a weird position. They're just no good. And a lot of people use them because they take up little space
right.
in a home gym, So that would be up there. I'm kind of picturing just the equipment carved into stone. That's kind of cool. I need to do like a thumbnail for that
Yes,
before you guys steal it.
We already have our top men on it.
Yeah,
Top
right.
men.
Definitely the Texas Power Bar.
We'll edit that part out.
Okay, you're gone. You're gone. No, man, that one's man, I don't know. I like so much of the stuff. It's so much easier for me to say what I like than things that are overrated.
We talked about this question specifically, and I thought it's an more interesting angle for you of like things that,
I'm going through my gym right now to think of what's overrated. So, I mean, this one's going to fire some people up. There's times where I feel like resistance bands are overrated. And not because I don't think they're effective, but like people you got the resistance band stands, man. You got the people that like resistance band till the day I die. You think they got them tattooed on the butt or something because they like resistance bands so much. Like if you don't mention resistance bands in the home gym essentials video, you're going to hell.
Right.
Resistance bands, I think they can be effective. Depends what you're training for. Like if somebody's trying to train for hypertrophy, like you're getting the max amount of tension at the top of the rep, not the stretch of the rep. So that, I don't know. I feel like that. Treadmill probably. I just go outside. Dude, I've got a true foam treadmill in my garage that I'll use like to warm up or to walk in the winter. But when it's the summer, man, I just go on walks. That's one of the beauties of a garage gym. Just go outside.
Yeah.
So that's another one. I'm trying to think of anything that really gets a lot of overrated. Fixed dumbbells, overrated. Fixed dumbbells in a home gym specifically.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Takes up
for
a lot of room.
Yeah.
Yeah, take up a lot of room. And honestly, like adjustables are getting so good that there are times where I actually gravitate towards the adjustables because the companies are actually thinking about the knurling. They're like thinking about the handle. Like you even use really good fixed dumbbells, say Ivanco's. Like Ivanco makes or not Ivanco, Intex.
Yeah.
Intex stainless steel Delta series. Very good dumbbell. Nothing to say about. They've got the rotating logo, swings around, pretty cool. But you compare that handle feel to like a Pepin. Dude, the Pepin is just, or Watson. Dude, I've had Watsons. Dude, Pepins feel even better.
We got to mess at the rep booth at Home Gym Con, the Reppin, Pepin, whatever.
Yeah.
And it pretty cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got your Mount Rushmore out there. You came up with 4, so.
I know after this call I'm going to be thinking of something else.
To like dovetail into that, Tommy, we had this conversation kind of with Kayvon at Home Gym Con and some other people. Yeah, big Kayvon. Talking about like the fad.
Yep.
The fad construct of how some of this works sometimes, especially maybe in the home gym community, but maybe just a larger gym community in general, where like certain pieces of equipment get really heavy in favor for a while, and like I everyone's got to have it. Everyone's making it. It's a race to everyone to produce one, and then like a year later, you're like, oh yeah, dude. Like I don't hear people
Well,
you know, maybe I don't.
It was, I mean, it's backed up by data, and I can't remember if he told us this on camera or if it was off, but it was like in 2019, like the most searched word or phrase on the Bells of Steel website was belt squat.
Belt
Right.
squat.
And he said,
Belt squat
you know,
was the key
we
one
come
we
out,
talked
and
about,
that was the
yeah.
example he used. And he's like, we come out with it, and now he's like, I don't even think it's like in our top 50 of search terms on our website anymore.
Yep. Oh, now that see, I knew it. The most overrated, one of the most overrated piece of equipment is jammer arms without
there
the
you go.
ability to lock them in position, like the Vendetta or the new PRX ones. Now that I have that, I use them all the time. Like, because you're simulating machines. Like, that's the goal with them. But when you've got them and all they are is basically like, you know, what football teams use.
Right.
No home gym owners using that for anything.
Well, nobody uses that in a gym setting. Like if you have that
Right,
machine,
yeah.
like, people don't use that. Like it's just
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
without a doubt. But that's one of those like 2019, you know, belt squats, the hype train. And the thing is, like, the nerd side of people, like the people that are into the equipment, like the Rogue LT1 50 cal trolley arms look amazing, dude. They feel amazing. Like the engineering behind them is just like, oh, they're so nice. And I think people get wrapped around that, where it's like, I like that.
Right.
But then
right.
in use, the functionality of them, it's just like, dude, I can't figure out what to do with these. So yeah, I think that's one.
Yeah, that's good. Tommy, do we want to do over under, or did you have anything else you want to hit on first? I know we got.
I think
we have
we've gotten
not
through
covered
most of
our
the questions
list, but
here.
yeah, we can. So do you remember overrated, underrated from the last time we
Of course.
podcasted with you? We did. Yeah, we didn't mention it, but we did bring you down into Tommy's basement and have a LaCroix. I think we broke LaCroix's with you at and
Pamplemousse.
recorded a podcast. Yeah.
Yes. And Tommy had just moved there.
I had just moved. Yes, I had. Don't live there anymore, but I had just moved
Right.
there at the time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. I got to tell you, man, that room you're in, that's the most blank room ever.
Well,
Bro, get some stuff on the walls.
This is where I moved into this house actually now like 6 months ago, and I keep saying, yeah, I'll decorate my office. And what I do is I come down here every morning, I get to work, I don't even look behind me. And I've spent more time decorating my home gym in the last month than I have ever doing this. So I'll get there someday. It's just so low on my priority list right now.
Straight out of the male living spaces suburb,
Yeah.
man.
Well, no, my wife has a computer back there, so it's not just for guys.
Okay.
And conversely, I look like I'm sitting in like.
You look like you're from Wayne's World when he's drinking and getting all his chips and stuff.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I'm not sponsored by anybody. Pepsi, you know.
Right.
It's like some people only do things for money, and that's really sad.
Right. Yep.
Yes. Okay, so you remember overrated, underrated. The most important part is you can't ride the line. And you have to ultimately decide when you have your druthers to elaborate as much as little as you'd like.
Druthers, great word, guys.
Yes. And this are all going to be centered around Tim from Jim Crafter. Just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So overrated or underrated, Jim Cramer.
Jim Cramer?
Mad Money.
The TV
I
financial.
don't-
Jim Cramer.
Oh, Jim Cramer.
Yeah.
Oh, underrated because you just do the opposite of what he's going with, dude. I mean, he is the market. You just do the opposite of what Jim's pulling out, and you're golden, man.
That one was so left field you couldn't even register.
Well, you said Jim, so I was immediately thinking GYM.
Right.
So it's like Jim Cramer.
I want someone
Jim
over to Jim
Cramer.
called Jim Kramer, and it'll be like have a financial twist to it.
Is Mad Money still a show?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
He's
haven't.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
totally. He's a living meme. That dude's a legend, you know. I bet like he's just laughing to the bank, you know. Everybody's talking about him.
But also,
That is
who
I believe that
watches
is
that
probably
though?
it.
Who watches that anymore? Why is that a thing?
My dad and every other boomer in the world,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I mean, you know.
Have you read any of his books?
No.
Okay.
No. Trash.
Just listen to the audiobook was all.
Yeah. You don't model your own personal financial You don't invest according to Jim's recommendations.
No, I do the opposite. I do the opposite. I just do Bitcoin. That's all I do.
Yeah, all Bitcoin to the
All
moon.
Bitcoin, all the
Eventually, just
time.
all write it out.
Yeah. I am a Bitcoin maximalist, though. If anything's going to work, it's going to be Bitcoin.
Do you think so? Can I?
I think
Okay,
so.
can I ask you something?
I-
Can I just ask? Can I pretend to be really extra dumb and ask what the problems of some of the common, like, okay, Bitcoin, my account gets hacked and my wallet's lost. How do we solve that problem with Bitcoin? How is that solved?
You don't have a financial institution to go with. You don't lose your you're done. So
But
Right,
isn't that
right.
isn't everyone over the age of 40 just the biggest liability in the world at that point then?
oh, without a doubt, yeah. now. But once we get there, hopefully not.
Well, I mean, yes,
You know,
I agree with you
as we
there.
get old-
Well, but also at the
as
same
we get
time,
older.
how many people lose their Instagram account every year? It's like people
Oh,
lose their
without a
Instagram
doubt,
account
yeah.
all the time. And then now they're like, oh, but Bitcoin's the answer. It's like, dude, you can't keep a password for your Instagram account, but you're going to keep a password that if you lose it, you lose all of your money in the world. Doesn't that seem like
But
a huge
I like
liability?
when people lose Bitcoin because it increases the scarcity.
Right, right.
You know, it
Because
decreases how much is in the market. You know, so
that's
it's
right.
like, keep losing.
That's right. Because
You
then,
know?
at the end, so then we all have our Bitcoin, so we can do Bitcoin
But
stuff.
before anybody messages me, I'm not crazy Bitcoin guy. I've got a very small amount in Bitcoin. Don't steal my account.
Are you a taco guy?
Oh, I love tacos.
Okay. Do you
I just had a taco today, a bratwurst taco.
all right, well
Oh.
let's go with this. I'm not sure
It was just a bratwurst, but
with
everything,
it
is
it is a
bratwurst.
taco. Yeah. Are Missouri, right?
Yeah, yeah. How
Is
dare you
Missouri
almost
in the
forget.
Midwest?
Missouri is the Midwest. dude.
Oh,
We are
Missouri
the
is not
Midwest.
the
We are
Midwest.
as middle as we get. The
No.
first two letters of our
pretty south as far as the middle goes.
West.
Missouri is more the South than the Midwest to me. I think
Okay.
I could listen to an argument that someone says it is part of the Midwest, but I don't think you could say it is the Midwest.
Well, if you define Midwest by the amount of alcohol consumed within that state,
It's a factor.
you guys are way more Midwest than we are. Okay.
It's certainly a factor.
But I would still say we get Anheuser-Busch, Boulevard. We got some breweries here. I think Missouri's Midwest.
Okay, so this next topic on overrated underrated will help us decide how Midwest you are, whether
Okay,
whether you have an whether you know what we're even saying here. So
Soda or
overrated,
pop.
no, overrated or underrated Taco John's.
Oh, we don't have a taco.
Aha, aha.
I think it's because we're too small, dude. I think it's because we're too small. Taco John's. I guess I can't ride the line. Underrated because I really have no idea if they're good or bad.
Well, next
But-
time you travel, make sure to stop at one if you're a taco guy.
You tell me, overrated or underrated? Jack in the Box.
I think Jack
don't
in the
have
Box
that,
is overrated.
See?
Is it?
Dude,
Isn't
their
that
monster tacos? Like 99 cents for two.
I was gonna say Jack in the Box is kind of cheap and crappy, right? Is that their thing? Like
Yeah.
they're
Well,
Yeah.
it's like,
like you
does
guys
anyone
would
go
love
there
it.
before midnight? Do people do
Cheap and
that?
crappy. No, of course not.
Yeah, I
Of
don't
course
think
not.
so.
You need the grease. Soak
Yeah.
everything up.
I think the last time I had Taco John's, I was in Phoenix, and it was when they had Steve Nash. They're putting up crazy points, and it was like, if the Suns can put up 120 points, you get 2 free tacos.
free tacos from Jack in the Box.
At Jack in the Box the next day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got my 2 free tacos, and that was probably the last time I had Jack in the Box.
Okay. Overrated or underrated functional trainers?
Underrated. Functional trainers it depends on the type of training you do. A power lifter would look at a functional trainer and just be like, dude, what the freak? You're not getting strong with it. A bodybuilder would look at a functional trainer and be like, there's 5 billion different movements I can do with this, So for the general trainee, just the garage gym, guy, I think they're really very beneficial. And so I love that companies have started putting them in racks because it just compacts everything.
We saw a lot of those.
Yeah,
we
it
saw
seems
a
like
lot of
everyone's
those.
doing that now because that kind of
That's the product of this year.
Well, that's what we were
Right,
going to ask you. Then
right.
it feels like
Last
that's
year.
the hype item right now is functional trainer.
Yep.
rack
It is.
mounted functional
The
trainers.
next
yeah.
one, just if you want to follow the trend, the next one is going to be an integrated Smith machine.
We were
Actually,
talking about that.
yep,
we got to preview one of those at Home Gym Con too, and we kind of
Yep. Yeah, I saw the video you guys did on Bells of Steel one.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which
Yep.
is an interesting. I think they said it like goes back.
They can
and
make
forwards.
it go at an angle.
That's pretty
They
cool.
they talked about an option where you could use your own bar. Like he said that there was bigger challenges to that. I thought that was cool though. Like as a barbell guy, I'm like completely unnecessary and basically irrelevant.
Tanner's like,
but
I'm not using my Smith machine unless I have a Rogue Agro 3 bar
Right.
in it.
Well,
Right.
Arsenal's Smith machine has a Texas power bar included.
Oh,
I'm sold.
I like
Here
that.
we
They
go.
Okay.
counterbalance for it.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think
Yeah.
you're right though about the Smith machine thing. We talked about it too. How just Smith machines in general feel like they're, it used to be that they were one of the running jokes.
Oh
And
yeah,
now-
dude.
Now that's not the case.
Totally. Because it's like Planet Fitness, that's all they have.
Right.
There's no squat racks. You got to use your Smith machine. So they're stupid. Now everybody's like, I love Smith machine. Dr. Mike Israel comes out. and
That's
says, "Smith
exactly
machines are
what
great,"
I
and
said.
everybody's
Dr.
like,
Mike
"Yeah,
says, yep.
I love," and I'm right there with them,
Yep,
Like,
yep.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. All right. This is the last one and the most important one. It's worth all the marbles. So please think deliberately before you answer, but overrated or underrated puffy coats?
Completely underrated. That's got it. I mean, dude, there's nothing warmer than a puffy coat. I know you guys have Canada Goose jackets. You guys live up north. Big Richmond selling all your freaking your training shorts. I know you guys are secretly billionaires buying all sorts of nice puffy coats. I think they're vastly underrated.
Do you have a
And Grant
preferred?
can take that to the freaking bank. Like he's trying to selling my name on a T-shirt. My likeness.
Tommy and I was going to say we each have a picture of you on a t-shirt now. So,
Nice.
well, at least one could maybe make an argument that it's a picture of
A
you, I guess,
representation of somebody with a
Right.
puffy coat.
and a mustache.
Yeah, just happens to be green or fat. Same thing as the video. Honestly, dude, nobody drives a joke deeper into the ground than Grant. That was great. I think maybe you guys do.
We do.
We might,
Honestly,
yeah, we might.
we're pretty good at doing that.
Yeah, you are pretty good.
We'll hang on to it for like a decade, actually.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, yeah, we have ones that are going on 10 years now. So,
yeah.
and actually, we were
Whatever
doing them
works.
for
Yeah,
10.
I saw you reposted the basically the Mormon Coop at the door.
Yeah,
with the-
yeah. That was
I was like, man, I haven't seen that one for a while.
That was an oldie, but a
Didn't
goodie.
have much hot on the newsreel today.
That was my point, though. I think even in that post, I'm like, let's get back to I think everyone's being a little too critical of Coop right now. Let's get back to the funny, the Coop
Yeah.
memes that I think we can all laugh at together.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thanks,
The-
Tanner.
Where you're evangelically forcing people to
The garage gym
Become
gospel,
garage-
baby.
yeah, right.
That's my that's my thing.
Yeah. So puffy coats, though. Damn it, Tommy. We should have both put puffy coats on when we started the interview.
We weren't thinking.
Yeah, we could have.
It's summertime here. It's hot. We finally got our puffy coats off.
Can we start this whole thing over and do it with puffy coats?
What coats do you really have?
I have a Patagonia. What's the
Trace Major, the 3, or down?
down sweater, the high fill
Down
down
sweater.
sweater.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of beating things into the ground forever, I have
Yeah,
a bit of a
All
running.
right. You shouldn't
running
have asked this
stance.
question. Okay,
Yeah,
here we
I have
go.
a bit of
now.
a running stance on coats that I am not.
Oh,
a fan.
you don't wear coats
I'm-
because
well-
you just walk in. You're one of those guys. You just walk in. I'm going somewhere warm.
I wouldn't say I don't wear coats. What I don't like is babysitting coats. I don't want to be in a scenario where I have to babysit a coat is the word I use. I hate going somewhere and then I wear a coat for 5 minutes so I can babysit it for 4.5 hours. I'm like, I don't want to be beholden to a coat everywhere I'm going. Although in South Dakota, it gets to be like -30. So sometimes coats are necessity. Just between living and dying, I will wear a coat. I just don't want to babysit any more than I have to. That being said, I wear whatever coats my wife has bought for me. That's the type of fashion. It's either whatever I wear either says Massenomics or my wife bought it for me, or like my primary sneakers are the ones that Tommy bought for me like 4 years ago.
Tommy did.
Tanner's more of a, he's like the model where people dress the model,
Yes.
Yeah, Ken doll.
Luckily, Massenomics has now come out with shoes, shorts, pants,
socks.
I can basically cover my
polos,
body and stuff that we sell. That when I need something, I just grab it off a shelf behind me.
That's the back.
Yeah,
nice functionality.
Yeah, not an overrated piece of gym equipment though is a drink spotter. Not sure if you
honestly I need to get an XL because I love the functionality of the J hook design.
Right. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's the coolest one, but not the most functional one, I guess is how I think of that.
Yeah. I use it every day because I go out and I take my rings off and I put them in there before I work out, right in the spot, and just put them in. Then I go work out, take them out. So I'm interacting with it every day.
That's exactly
flip
what
it the bird every time.
Yeah, you use it every day when you like grab it and throw it in the garbage and say, "These guys,
on it.
These idiots." Great job! You passed overrated, underrated. So we're proud of you again. You're 2 for 2.
Marbles.
Yeah, still all these years later, you still got it.
Good, nice.
Yeah.
Has anybody not passed?
No, nobody's not passed. You're like one of like 300 people that have all passed.
Statistically, we're getting so far down there that somebody's going to fail one of these days.
They should.
It is a pass.
Bring Brandon
course.
Campbell Diamond on, failing.
I think Brandon has been on
basements, overrated, underrated. Yeah. He's going to say underrated, and then just give him a big X.
Yeah. Has Brandon been on 3 times?
I believe so. 3 times with the most.
So he's kind of got
about a month ago.
He's one up you by one. How about this for a question? Is Brandon an equipment reviewer? He would tell you he's not an equipment reviewer, kind of is what he would say.
Well, what would he say he is?
He says he is not.
But if this is the question, what would he say he is if that's not what he is? I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't say.
Oh yeah. How would he define himself?
Right.
I think he would say he's undefinable.
Yeah. He fits into
like
no boxes.
He's a snowbird equipment reviewer. It's like
right.
if he likes the equipment, and he's feeling good, and he can shoot the video in one take.
Mm-hmm. That's the secret sauce. One take.
Workout, man, if he put some time into it, he'd kill it. Because the dude knows, like Pete Keller from Fringe Sport in our Facebook group made a post about what would you like to see in a power bar or something. So he goes on there and basically gives a consultation on everything that he should consider in a barbell.
Yeah.
And I just comment, like what he said. The dude, like, he knows his stuff.
Yes, he does.
He just doesn't want to put as much time into it.
Right. Oh yeah. If
Super
you want
nice
to dedicate. Oh yeah. He's all right. We don't care what everyone else says about him. He's not that bad of a guy. Tommy, anything else for Big Coop?
I think that's pretty good. Check most of the boxes.
Yeah, we really appreciated you coming on like this. We had to get to the bottom of this scandal, so we had to strike when the iron was hot.
A scandalous guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad my secretary put it through to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Usually she shuts this kind of thing down, but
we had a direct line to pillars 1 and 2, so we know how to get
jump
to
ahead
you.
in line here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him that from now on.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to Logan, hey, pillar 1.
Yes.
Buy him a T-shirt.
Yeah. Yes. No, we appreciate anything a listener do you want them to follow your Coop Instagram at all? Like, do you want them to check that out? Because you got your own.
Yeah,
too.
if they'd like to, at Home Gym Coop. I am trying to. One of the things I realized from Tim is wasn't like, there was a time where I just made content for the fun of it, and I just don't do that a lot. Like, I enjoy doing the reviews, but like just experimental random stuff, just equipment I really like, whatever. And I was like, I'm just going to do that. And so that's what I've been doing on Home Gym Coop. So if you want to watch that kind of stuff,
Is this like your
Go to
teaser to
Home
say
Gym
there's
Coop.
going to be a lot more memes coming soon?
there might. I love memes. I love all that stuff. But and then at Garage Gym Reviews, GarageGymReviews.com and Garage Gym Reviews YouTube channel. I want to get, dude. I want to get to 1 million subscribers.
What do you
What's
right
it
now?
at?
Halfway there. There's a
Okay.
long way to go, but that would just be
Actually, okay, that
pretty
actually
cool.
reminds me of one question we didn't talk about. How closely, so we're kind of getting back on the train here. How closely are you when you're making a video? Like, are you planning thumbnails and titles before the video's even made? Like, do you have that direction in mind?
Oh yeah, the title dictates the video.
Yeah.
The thumbnails,
Yeah.
I do all the thumbnails. Nobody touches thumbnails. And the most important part of the video, if you can nail these things, you got a video. Title, thumbnail, first 15 seconds.
Yep.
You got it. It's all about the hook. You got to capture. But you've made a promise. That's what a title, thumbnail, first 15 seconds is. But you got to fulfill the promise throughout the rest of the video.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you make the promise, which is, this is what I'm talking about. This is the shiny, hype, good stuff. And then you gotta give them the meat, Otherwise, that's what real clickbait is you don't, you say something, it's something else.
So
if you're gonna have, go ahead.
When a video comes out, how close are you paying attention to those first 24-hour analytics?
Oh, close.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm a student of the game of gym equipment. I watch everybody's videos of reviewers and of YouTube itself. I love all that. Like, I'm always like, you review content. I love review content. The best reviewer in the world right now, in my opinion, is MKBHD. Dude is good.
Yeah. No, yeah. And he's been around a long time and he's created a huge audience. This is one thing that I wasn't super aware of. Like, I knew it existed, but I didn't pick it up. I didn't notice it as much until recently. Are you ever doing the thing where something isn't going right, so we need to change the thumbnail in that first few days? Do you guys ever do that?
Not a lot. No.
I mean, do you see people doing that though? I feel like I'm seeing more of that.
I see it all the time, and I'm totally open to the idea. I don't know. I don't follow the Mr. Beast method.
Right.
Like, I got people on my team that are really into Mr. Beast.
Mhm.
It's just such a different type of content than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, everybody looks at the top and they're like, we should do that. But I'm not in the entertainment business.
Yeah, it's like a game
His
show
content
essentially.
is entertainment.
Right.
Yeah, that's not my goal, is to be entertainment. Like, I want to have entertainment, but it's like more like infotainment. It's like, I'm more about educating through the product with some entertainment. But I'm not that worried about it. I don't do that as much. I'm on to the next one.
It's funny. This would be a difficult thing for me to wrap my head around the way we do it, but like, people even, this video is vastly underperforming. There's no saving it now. We're deleting it because otherwise its existence is dragging down our, I don't know if you say
algorithm.
Our algorithm. So like, we're canning it. It's going away for good because it's hurting us, and like, it's not only is it underperforming, it's actually hurting us negatively and on other videos potentially.
Yeah. The SEO game, like which is primarily on, Google search engine result pages, but is also on YouTube. Dude, Google's basically metrics for determining what does well on SEO was just leaked over the weekend. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Oh, I did not see that.
It's vastly different than what people at Google have been telling people. So from my perspective, the way that you grow and do well is you serve the audience. Like that's it. Like that, like there's principles, and then there's like, the strategist, like I'm principled. I'm like, I think I do well at knowing, at knowing the base of like this is what attracts people, this is what does well. If you focus on that, the game's constantly going to shift, it's going to change what you need to go for. Principles stay the same. So you focus on the principles, on the fundamentals, like my basketball coach used to say, then I think you're going to do well. When people start to play the game of like removing thumbnails, I'm not into that. There's so much other stuff to focus on. That's focusing on the urgent and not caring about the important.
Do you guys try to keep to a certain posting, like a minimum number of videos per month or anything like that?
I just try to do, just because I've done it forever, 2 a week.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Tuesday release and then a Friday release, and we've done that for years. I've tried to go up to 3 videos. It's just, dude, it's honestly like it's a full-time job testing, creating notes, comparing, writing Excel spreadsheets on pricing, on all updates. Like that's all stuff that I do myself because I want to be in the process. So because of that, it's like, dude, it's just a lot to do 2.
Do you ever notice
3 is like kills?
Do you ever notice if you get pricing wrong or anything like that people let you know?
Oh yeah, or I forget somebody on the best weight plate video, Which, like, I mean, I'm thankful that enough people watch and care enough that they're like, Coop, you freaking idiot, you left this one off, And I'm like, man, I really did. So
I think your follow-up video, did your follow-up video perform better than the original video? Maybe I'm off on that.
I think it probably did. Yeah,
I think it did.
So. I mean, it did well.
It had a great title too, because it was like, I messed up or something, you know? So it's like,
and I've rarely done stuff like that. So because of that, I think people are like, what is he, what did he actually mess up on? And It wasn't clickbait because I actually did mess up. So I felt okay with the title.
Yeah. I think we had an exact conversation about that too, and that made sense. I think that was a great move though. Like that's turning lemons into lemonade, honestly, right?
Right. Yeah. And Grant got a bunch of
right.
I mean, they got left off that video.
They got more publicity,
dedicated video.
Yeah, and he made all the memes of saying like, "I love strength guard," and then got a dedicated video. So I mean, good for him.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, that's great. So we'll see you at Home Gym Con 2025.
I'm hoping to be there.
Okay.
Either there or Garage Gym Con 2025. One of those two.
Excellent. Maybe we'll see you at either or both.
No, I'm hoping to be there.
Okay. All right. Awesome. We appreciate it. Thanks, Coop.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. See
you later.
Thanks a lot, Coop.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
There it is.
What'd you give them there?
Those are garage cooled beans.
Cooled out in the south in the wintertime garage. Cool beans, aren't they?
Was. I don't want to change topics too fast here, but the T-Wolves did pull it off, Tanner. They did get a win tonight.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. A, I've had it up on my screen. B, Jack texted me 400 updates. C, he's in the room outside of me. I could hear him screaming when Naz Reid made a jumper and when Ant made one in the end there. And yes, 105-100. The dream is still alive.
So
baby.
annoying
just one
that
game.
they could so easily be up.
They should be up 3-1. That's just that's a fan saying fan shit. But
I really don't. I really think if you objectively look, like the Mavs are not a superior team.
No,
it's just they caught the T-Wolves on the worst 3 nights they could catch them.
That's not the narrative, though, by so many people, and it annoys me. But
I know.
The fact of the matter is, what I'll say, I don't think they're the better team. Luka and Kyrie are really poised.
They're playing out of their mind.
Yeah,
and the T-Wolves are playing about as bad as they played in the entire play. I mean, they are
Anthony
playing as bad
Edwards
as they played.
Really has disappointed me in this series, but we talked about it offline. He's 22, and
first time in the playoffs.
right. Or did they play one round last year? Or 2 years ago or something? Did they lost to Memphis? I think.
Okay, when he was like 20, then
19,
I guess.
I'd
been in the league for 9 months.
Right, but essentially his first real playoff run, of course. And there's still. I mean, there's really not that much hope for this series. If I'm being realistic, nobody has ever won a series.
Statistically, there is no hope for them.
But it's still not impossible. It's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say. And they kind of stunk it up too. Their offense looked anemic at times, and disjointed. And I'm just like, somebody do something, please. But I still think,
dude, if it wasn't for Naz Reid, these last 2 games, they would have been blowouts. Yeah. He was the team. It felt like.
Yep. So we'll continue to follow that. Maybe there's hope. The Celtics are in the finals, so we're looking like a Maverick Celtics finals, though.
I just hate to root for the team that beats you, and I also hate to root for the Celtics.
I know.
Yeah,
I think the East was just it's no fair. The East was just a cakewalk in comparison.
Every year in the East, though.
I was just say that's been the narrative for also like 25 years. Kind of, so.
Yeah. The East winner goes into the finals all fresh because they haven't played anyone.
Right.
It's like, the top 2 teams in the East have good records, and then everyone else is like a 500 team. It's like, that's the East and NBA for you.
Yes. I've got a music topic, but maybe we don't have time. Maybe that can be tabled, I guess.
Oh, damn. We're at 2 hours already. Wow.
Well, that's what I would maybe like a little I was kind of hoping to get a little training update from you. Since now, as you know, you've been using Juggernaut and progressing there. Actually, let me start it this way. Juggernaut AI. Since 2009, Juggernaut has been your trusted training source, helping tens of thousands of athletes reach their goals. Tommy being one of them. From beginners to world champions, Juggernaut AI can help you. Make sure to check it out. You go to juggernautai.app. Go to it on your web browser. I say your web browser, not that, because that's where you can use discount code Massenomics. And seriously, check this out. If you're interested in progressing your training, maybe you've never had a coach, you've never paid anyone anything for training, you've just done some templates, hopped around on some of that stuff. Give this a try with discount code Massenomics. It ends up being about $30 a month. They continue to make that better and better all the time. We talked about some of those updates recently, and it is what Tommy uses. So, Tommy, how is your training going?
Well, should I read one more ad?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna put a little bookmark in that and come right
table
back.
That. Yeah.
This episode is also brought to you by Swisslink. Swisslink has been importing military issue goods to the United States for over a long time. So they're really good at it. They've been doing it a long time. Swisslink has an unrivaled collection and a pretty impressive range of items in their shop. They got everything from British sleeping bags to Romanian rucksacks to Slovakian woodland M97 field parkas to the classic Swisslink blankets. Swisslink is your go-to source for all these good things and even more. Seriously, you got to go here. Check them out. They got things that you wouldn't even believe once you start digging through the collection. Head on over to Swisslink.com, and while you're there, make sure to use code MASS, that's MASS, for a 15% discount on your next purchase. That's code MASS, save you 15% at Swisslink.com. Thank you, Swisslink.
Thanks, Swisslink.
Training is going very good tonight.
We're about 8. We were just looking at the calendar earlier. I think we're about 8 weeks away from the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
Today was the first day of my last strength block, and that means the reps are dropping and the weight is rising. And so
you've got it's the first day of your last strength block, and it's about 4 weeks long.
Yep. So I got 4. Yeah. So I got 4 weeks here. And then I get into full on peaking mode. If something was to pop up to peak for.
Yeah. if something on July 20th, 2024 in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Yeah.
I like to be peaked as much as possible, really drive my body into the ground. But, so today was the start of it. And, squats, I basically haven't done anything less than a set of 5 for squats in over a year.
Right.
And so today was sets of 3, which is kind of scary to see that all of a sudden, because I'm jumping up to what I did today. My top set was 385 for a set of 3.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah. And it feels like that came really fast out of nowhere, because
that's what she said.
That is exactly what she says. It was not that many months ago where I had touched 315 for the first time in a year. So all of a sudden, I've just added 80 pounds to what, not like the strength wasn't there, but I just hadn't been putting up those numbers. And yeah, it moved really, really fast. And as a gauge, this is where these tools with Juggernaut and the Smart Barbell tracking app, where these things can make things a little less subjective and a little more objective is when I compare my bar speed to weights from the previous week. So I go back a couple of weeks ago, I had done 370 for a set of 5. And when I look at my detailed tracking and I look at my velocity, I think I was super hyped that week because it's a set of 5. I'm doing 370. It's big weight. And at the time I got done with that and I was like, oh, I smoked those. That felt amazing. Like I was so jacked for it because I hadn't gone heavy in a while. And then this week it's like, okay, yeah, all right, we're cranking up the weight. We're lowering the reps. I didn't quite have the same just like ampness for it, And I got done with the set and I thought, I think I rated 8.5 or an 8. I think I rated an 8. And actually, I don't have to tell you what I think I rated it. I'll tell you what I rated it. I'm probably forgetting already. I rated my
Luckily,
top.
we've got an app for that.
Yes, I rated my top set 7.5. I was actually way off. I rated a 7.5. But in my head, I was like, that felt kind of slow. I mean, it was hard, but it wasn't like crushing. I mean, it was a 7.5. It was hard. It just didn't feel amazing. But then when I look at my bar speed on all 3 of my reps was faster than my first 3 reps at 370 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, there's objective data there saying that even in my head, it didn't feel amazing, but all of those numbers say they were better than the ones I did last week or 2 weeks ago that I thought were like really good. So that gives you a little boost to look at that and see like, oh yeah, no, you actually are moving more weight and you're moving it faster, more consistently.
Right.
And also my drop off.
Feeling in your head that day is actually probably wrong.
Right. Like when I look at my velocity on my first one is faster than my best one ever from the old set. And my drop off like almost is non-existent. The 3 are super consistent. When I look at my set from 3 weeks ago, they start to drop off a fair amount. So when I look up the objective data, it says to me, no, you're doing things right. Things are going the exact way you want them to go. Just trust the process, man. And then that was my top set of 3. I had 4 more sets of 3 for drop sets after that. At 355, they all felt pretty good. So I am liking the way things are going at the moment.
So it's basically all positives, really, right?
It is all positives. The only negative was I had to mow my lawn after, and man, that was like more of a workout than anything. After a hard leg day to go out and mow your lawn, and I'm on a bit of a hill, so my calves calves were screaming at the end of that thing.
You've got a pretty good hill there, actually, don't you?
Yeah. So yeah, training.
That's the cardio.
It was the cardio. Got a lot of steps in. So training, I'm very happy with where it's at.
But the weight's getting serious, like at least relatively speaking, you're doing some stuff you haven't done for a while, kind of.
It's getting up there. I had to check the last time I did these numbers was just the last time I hit this number. Well, there was one time last March where I did 385 for a set of 6, and I thought it was I marked it for like a 6.5 or 7. That was like actually it felt like I was on pace to be going right up to a 550 squat again. It was like everything I'm doing is aligning with when I hit a 550 squat.
Right.
And had a little tweak, and that just took me way too long to recover from. But when I go back before that, though, these numbers are aligning with right when Chad came the last time.
Yep.
This was where I was at like 2 or 3 weeks before he showed up. And then the day he showed up, I had 405 for a top set of 3. And I'll be at that same spot in about 3. I'll probably maybe even be past that in 3 weeks here, actually.
Yeah.
And when that block finished, I squatted 445. That was my 3rd attempt. I think there was more there watching the video, I know there was more there that day, but I wasn't going to take a 4th attempt because I was maxing out all my lifts over the course of.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. That felt good. I'm like, I've done more before, like knowing that I have 455 here doesn't change. It's not an all-time PR or anything. Doesn't change anything.
Right.
So yes, I feel like my numbers are coming together in a way I want them to.
Sweet. You can't really ask much more than that. Thank you, Juggernaut AI. Again.
No, not really. No. So yeah, get on Juggernaut AI, and if you're not, also get the Smart Barbell app because it can provide you some cool objective data to analyze your lifts with.
So it'll be interesting if that all lines up timing wise with the summer. If it worked out, you're able to
what could happen.
Like how you could
just what could work out. I know
what could be.
What could be. How about your training though?
It's good. I was actually. I don't know if you noticed, I'm not coughing this week for the first time in like 3 weeks. Finally, and I just was having like this. 2 things happened. 2 weeks
slept
ago,
through the night.
Well, no, 2 weeks ago, my training had really ramped up. I had a hard week. Like it was
You had some
like a week where
I
I had
like
big
560
numbers.
or whatever on those deadlifts. And
On deadlifts, I did 585 and I did set of 10.
yeah, that's a
And
lot.
that taxed me. Like it felt pretty good at the time, but I think I was just starting to kind of get sick. And then I had the hardest log press I'd had for a while. I had the heaviest squat. You know, it was all
A neck tweak.
I mean, I knew it was going to be. It was planned on being a hard week and coming down from that a little bit afterwards. But then I went into the gym the next training week, that first day, and I'm like, nothing hurt. Not like it's not.
You
I
just
was
feel
not. I'm not
burnt
injured
out, though, don't you?
I was so burnt out, and partly I think it was like sick too at the time. You know, a little bit sick, and I'm like, this shit feels so heavy. Like I just felt so fried. So I'm like, I have to deload for like a week here. Basically, I had no choice.
I think deloads though, for me, it might be more of a mental break that I need than the physical.
Right.
Even. I mean,
right.
Yes, physical. It is nice to have it, but I think just with kids, you just never get a good night of sleep, so you're never
Right.
really recovering there. And then like I add in the stresses of just my other shit going on with work. And then, like Massenomics is a time commitment too. Like there's a lot of things going on. And so yes, physically you do get run down, but like I have to my advantage that I'm not moving insane amounts of weights, but those are ramping up. So I do start to feel more fatigued. But what I notice, I'm like, dude, just when I go to the gym, I almost never have caffeine. I don't take pre-workout. Like I can get, it's like Larry said, if I can't turn it on for one set, you might as well throw the dirt on me right now. And dude, that is my life motto right there. It's like, dude, if I can't
just do this one thing that I really want to do,
side and focus hard for 30 seconds, then it's like, I got too many other problems.
What am I doing? Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But there does come a point where I think the deload kind of gives me that mental break of like, yeah, it gives me like a week to just kind of let my mind be like, no, we don't need to focus hard on anything in the gym.
Yeah.
And it's just that like, oh, okay, yeah, like the numbers don't really matter. I'm just kind of here to exercise, whatever that means.
Right.
So then when I do come back the next week,
no
it's like
pressure.
Which is this, and like my deload, even the weights, I'm like, they feel way harder than they should.
That's kind of the way that goes, though.
Yes.
That's kind of the way that goes.
And that kind of gives you a little more anxiety going into this week.
Right.
But that also makes you turn it on more so that when you're ready to go to those top sets, you're like, no, this is what matters right here. These are the things that matter. These 5 sets that I just got to get done. And I've had now, 10 plus days to just not do that thing. So now I can flip the switch, turn it on, and get after it again.
Well, here's the phenomena I think that exists in that deload feeling, because I experience that all the time. Because say a Juggernaut AI deload, you're still doing some stuff.
You are, but it's
the
probably,
weights are back down to maybe 20%, and the reps or the total volumes maybe back down 50%. Yeah. But there's still like some weight on the bar, and a lot of times there's a lag. Like there's a lag in your recovery. So
because you also know, like, okay, so for like an example for me, 2 weeks ago on Juggernaut, my deadlift was like 405 for a top set, and then like 385 for a couple top sets. That was my deadlift. And then my deload for Juggernaut was 2 sets of 4, and the weight range it gave you was between like 245 and 315.
Right.
And it's like, you look at that and you're like, that's nothing. So you're just so checked out on it that it feels way too heavy because you're just so checked out on it. Like, that is, you're like, this is
certainly a big mental. Yeah, there's a big mental component, and I think you're in the deload because you needed it after 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of hard training. So you might kind of feel like shit during that deload because you might think, oh, this is a deload. Why doesn't it feel better? And it's like, no, because you need the deload right now. So
that's
even
part
the deload,
of the recovery process.
Yeah, it's going to feel a little like shit. And then the following week after, you might think in your head, oh, the deload kind of felt like shit. What's this week going to feel like? But that's when you realize the gain of the deload is the following week.
There's some magic happening behind the scenes. Like,
when
this
you
isn't all accidental.
reduce that volumes by so much. And so today was my first day, not back in the gym because I didn't miss any days, but my first day post deload, and boy, did I feel good again.
Oh,
I was like, God damn, I feel like I got some pop to it now. And I'm like, so I am basically, I have to intelligently manage the fatigue going forward, but say there's 8 weeks to go here till some fictitious goalpost. I am pretty much going all gas, no brakes for 7 weeks here. And like, that's the timeline now, is there's like 7 weeks of this deload. I feel like prime me pretty well, and I just have to manage it properly going through to hopefully, I don't want another week of like not being able to do a damn thing because I overshoot I shoot myself in the foot by getting a little too over ambitious. So I just have to manage that appropriately. But I think I'm on pace to do that. The thing I'm finding, my training is going well, and I'm feeling.
So are you okay? So yes, like obviously you've got your programming figured out. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
There. Things are feeling good. You're feeling healthy. Are you? Because another component you had, another variable, was the weight thing. What's your weight?
So so this would be my point on this whole thing is, in the past when I've competed, say the last strongman competition I did, there was a log press. One? It was in, it's where I tore my ACL in Baisu Falls. Yeah. And that would have been like 2019. Yeah. That would have been like 2019. But for that one, for example, this Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, there's a max log press event. And my training, just if I was to ever do something like that, but my training, I'm training the log right now, obviously, and I'm progressing pretty well. Like it's really coming along quick, but what I have to continue to remind myself when I went into that strongman event in Sioux Falls, now log press is not a great event for me, but I was strong. And part of the reason I was so strong, the weight class was 275. I didn't have to cut, but I had to
you were
keep my weight in check the week of to make sure I was under 275. And like really the day of, I was very careful because I could have walked in at 282 if I wasn't careful. And I did the log. I think it was clean and it was clean and pressed away. But anyways, I think I got 275 for a set of 5, which is good. But I came in I really effectively weighed 280 pounds. So in my head, sometimes I'll be like, well, why can't I do yet 275 by 5? Like that, I'm not even close to that.
What's wrong with me?
But my thing, like I'm trying to stay under 250 pounds. And it is the challenging part because the way I'm training hard and my body, like I straight up my body wants to be putting weight on. Like I haven't trained quite this hard in a while. So sometimes I forget about what this is like. And
beast.
If I was going no holds bar on diet right now, I would be weighing something way out of range of being under 250, being able to be under 250 pounds, because I swear to God, like I am straight up. I haven't felt this hungry in a really long time. And the weight, my diet, and I say diet as a real word in this scenario, over these last like month, I have not eaten this clean. I don't know if I've ever eaten this clean for this long a stretch of time. I haven't eaten anything, no piece of junk, I haven't had a beer, haven't had a piece of junk food. I can't afford, honestly, like trying to keep my weight in check. I am eating disturbingly clean.
Or what's the?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
I am eating, for me at least, I'm probably not in bodybuilder territory range. I'm not like a peak cut bodybuilder range, but like for me, that I eat chicken, ground beef, rice, cottage cheese, some fruit, fruits and vegetables. I'm not cutting that stuff out, but I'm like, it is all I can do. Like, I'll be like, okay, my weight had to have maintained, and I'll step on the scale each morning and I'm like, my God, I'm up a pound. How did I just gain a pound? I felt like I starved myself yesterday. I mean, I'm still eating a lot of calories.
Adding to the weight now.
Right. I'm still eating for an average person, they'd be like, well, you're eating a ton of calories. But like, to me, it's so like, I am not eating there's been so many, how it's like with kids.
Oh yeah.
The amount of stuff
just
that I realized
carbs around at all times.
The random single things I'll grab and think are nothing.
Yep.
Like every time one of those, I have to tell myself not to pick my hand up and grab like a bite of the cinnamon roll or whatever it is. I'm like, God, that's like probably 500 calories today that I just like, not
Said no
meals,
to
but just
that-
like crap that I just haven't eaten.
Right.
Like we were talking about Pizza Ranch and their fried chicken at work, of course, the other day. The one thing I've really been hankering over this is like pizza and fried chicken, and they brought it in, and I just sat there and I had some carrot sticks, so I munched on those while everyone ate, and then I went and left and ate my food. I've been seriously like,
you weren't even going to do just the chicken, taking the skin off?
I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't know. I am doing a pretty good job, and part of it's just,
if you've been eating that clean, the chicken probably would have cleaned you out, so that you probably
That's
didn't need
true.
to take the chance there.
part of it is just a willpower test right now.
It's the whole Dr. Mike thing.
Because I'm like,
once you have something good, you want more of it.
well, and my thing is like, I never actually do it. Like I lie to myself sometimes probably on how good I think I am eating. And like right now I'm actually doing it. And I'm like, it is a biatch for me. So part of it is just like, no, I have to prove to myself that I can do this. Because as like a power lifter or a strongman, you get like, no, I need that food.
Yeah,
like,
I need to be gaining 10 pounds for this prep period.
Right. And that's the only reason I do it. Like I only do it because I need to be doing it.
Like,
and then after a while I'm like
food, man.
well, and then I'm like, can I not do that? Like, is it even possible? Like, do I have the willpower even anymore to not do that? So it's kind of a test to me that way. But wrapping that back around to my original point, the challenge for me at 6'2" or 6'3", while 250 to an average person is not a weight you would say is light by any means. If someone's 6'2 and a half, 250, you'd be like, well, that's not a small person.
Yeah. But you also have
to
like a
me,
bigger
to be
frame
like-
than me too, though.
Right.
Like me, I just can't picture, you're an inch or two taller than me. I just can't picture me at 250. Like that blows my mind.
Right. And I don't know if bigger frame is a real thing. Or not,
yes, also true. Like that might not be a thing, but
I mean, I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I don't know what it actually means. But I am running into that thing where it's like, why? Like, I don't need to be 275 to be strong, right? And then I'm like, I'm not even sure. I'm just telling myself that. I'm like, why? Like 250 is enough. Yeah, like 250 is enough to be strong. But then I'm like, well, I guess everyone's different, and maybe like I just at like 6'3", maybe I have a hard time, getting to a certain strength. At my height, it's just might just be the way I am, where it's like there's a tipping point in there where I get to like 265, and it's just like things just feel
click
like
at a different
exponentially easier.
level. Yeah.
But so it's all kind of a little test, right? It's all test. But my training's going well, and I'm feeling good. I just know if I went where it's like, I don't care if I get up to 275.
Think you could put on
I'd
10
be crushing
pounds in
some.
a couple weeks.
Yeah,
here.
I'd be crushing some. Things would be feeling light as shit. Other than the deadlift is always the caveat. I've always felt like where I can keep the body weight a little lower and have the deadlift feel good. So that's feeling really good right now. The overhead press is the trickiest part though, where if I went up to 275, I'm pretty sure my numbers would just go right with it. But without the body weight, I guess it's just it's just a harder way to try to get there.
Yeah, and it is. I have noticed I am that's actually one of my gauges for how I know things are going good is that I am starting to slowly gain weight again, because I naturally have almost no appetite, and so I can just like not.
Do you feel like you get hungrier when you're training like this?
I do get hungrier, and I also
Okay.
just feel like, I don't know if it's like a thing of like also
somewhat mental.
Training's going good, so I need this anyways. You kind of do that thing.
Right.
It's like, I have a hard day tomorrow, I should probably eat a little extra tonight. And then it's like the day after, you're like, well, I have a hard training today, so I should probably eat more.
So it's basically like 7 days a week you're telling
like,
yourself,
well, I got done with a hard
session.
session, so I also need to eat more to replenish. You start telling yourself. But so like my weight is slowly creeping up. Like I don't pay very close attention to my weight just because I don't care that much, but I checked.
I normally wouldn't either.
I need to start checking in the morning just to see what it is doing. But when I checked the other day, I was at like 212. And that is another thing I have to remind myself is like when I had my best powerlifting meet ever, like
what'd you weigh, 230?
That was the only time in my life I ever saw the scale go above 230. I remember one night, I stepped on the scale. Also, night is a little different, but one night I stepped on the scale and saw 232 and was like, oh my God, I didn't think I could ever get there. And But for the most part, though, like during that training block, I was floating between like 220, 225-ish. But I know like when I'm at that number, like, oh, that is full feed and that's like full power for me.
Right.
But I'm not far from, I also do know for a fact that I'm much better about getting high protein foods in my diet than I used to be. For me, it used to just be, you'd have protein shakes and then just eating a lot of meat. And man, I am putting down the pure protein bars lately, man.
Yeah.
Go to Costco, they got those things on sale. It's like, I got to get extra.
Well, the Costco membership, you can't
yeah,
afford
it's just like I got all these boxes of pure and then to break up the pure protein bars, you know, when you need more of a treat, I get the Costco, like just the 10 gram kind of, not really a protein bar, but it's like, man, between all of those things and just my meals and it's like, yep, my protein's sitting pretty good right now.
Yeah. There's something follow up I was going to ask you about it, but no, I forgot. We'll just do like a little weekly training update for that at this point. Now we got as long it's usually not this interesting, and it's kind of interesting right now, so it'll maybe be a
right. We're not just like
thing.
I mean, we are kind of just lifting for a random date, nothing specific, but
right. Yeah,
but our random dates don't usually align very closely.
Exactly. That's why it's mutually interesting at the same time. This way, there is part of my weight thing too. I haven't been playing basketball still.
Yeah.
Because of my ankle, and I think that is a factor. So I have been trying to do more other cardio stuff, but just really oddly thing, this has never come up before. My high school this summer is having an alumni men's league over the
alumni
summer.
League, really?
League. Yeah,
wow.
Not a game, an alumni league where you can, and actually like the current players are in the league also. So it's like current, players and alumni and stuff like that. And I still haven't played basketball yet on my ankle, but I have the itch. I don't think it's 100%, but it could be in the ballpark.
That's
of
one
like,
of those that just
good
sucks
enough.
because you're like, you'd hate to tweak it now, though.
That's it. Then I'm like, I can hold back enough that I won't hurt it.
Yeah.
And that is
not how that works. Yeah.
No, it is not how it works. So that's, but I showed it to my wife, and like the flyer for it. And she's like, cause it was the funniest thing. It's like this Northwestern High alumni men's summer basketball league. And she's like, did you make this up for yourself?
It's like, I got to think of a more creative way to tell my wife I need to play basketball again.
Right. Like, and it was just a funny the way she said that, because like, yeah, it's almost like, how could this exist outside of me having made it up?
Yeah.
And especially if you understand the context of the school side, just various elements.
That's like, where are they pulling all these people from? Is everyone commuting an hour to go do this?
I don't know what the situation's going to be like. I also just, out of purely curiosity, I want to be involved almost, where I just see what's happening here.
See what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, my high school always does an alumni game Easter weekend.
And I know
when people are back in town, they always do an alumni game where they get, I've never actually gone to it, but I know they get a pretty good turnout of, people that I was, people I went to high school with. It's a lot bigger school
though, too.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. We're talking class sizes of 80 to 100 and some. So
how do they do that though? Wouldn't sometimes there be way more wouldn't there be way more people than there is for like two teams?
Oh no, they do a tournament. It's like
they do a tournament.
Yeah.
Weekend. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
okay.
it's they usually have, I think, like 10 teams or, whatever it is to an actual bracket. It's like an all day thing.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So that's where the younger guys that are actually in shape really start to shine by the end of the day, because they can keep moving.
See, I was talking about that with some alumni too, some fellow alumni.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, I know a few guys with some really good size that are alumni, and we were talking like, Kent, I don't know how well we can get up down the court with them, but like, one of these guys is like 6'8", 350. The other guy's 6'5", 300, and I'm 6'3", 250. I'm like, they could be, I don't know what their guard, we can't guard them, but
just body
can they guard
up.
us? Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know what the
slow the game down. It's going at our pace.
Right. Like, there's a couple enormous men. Like, I don't think these kids are equipped to body up with like enormous grown adults. So
yeah, that would be funny.
Right. Should we wrap this?
Yeah, we probably should.
2.5 hours. It was a fun episode with Coop, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
who's our surprise guest this week. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird. Just please make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.